Hello. I hope I did this right.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Guess Owl Dice, where a bunch of bird brains flock together and play Dungeons and Dragons. Welcome to part 2 of our session summary of our.
Oh, we got an echo, just so we know.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Chad is saying we've got a little bit of an echo somewhere.
Yeah. Oh, it's probably me. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Hello? I think we're good. I think we're good for now. Let us know if it comes back.
Right. Yeah. So welcome to part 2 of our summary. This is the last part, and then we will start our campaign in the new year, which is exciting. Jump right back into it. So we're going to start off with introductions. I, of course, am Bryn. I am at storybook_tales at basically everywhere. And I am Dungeon Master of this campaign.
I am Abby. I go by Sea Captain Gray anywhere you care to look. I play 2 characters, as you'll figure out in this next part. Fiddle, also known as Winnie, and Cordelia.
Sorry, I'm trying to figure something out.
Sarah's muted.
Hi, I'm Sarah. I play Friendly and Raya, and then my handles are Princessladybro on everything except for Instagram, which is Schnitz, SCHNTZ.
I'm Natalie, Shield Maiden or Shield Maiden cosplay across all platforms. That's Shield with 2 eyes, and I play Rose, the human wizard.
All right. So last time we went over the first part of our summary and everything. I am being given the one moment. Hello, everyone. We're working on.
Yeah, thanks for letting us know. We're working on the technical difficulties.
As you can see, we are unfortunately 2 members down tonight. Maria and Katie unfortunately could not make it tonight. They will be here in the future though. So Maria, as you know, is Dubious Misdeeds everywhere, and she plays Calamity and Ryder. And Katie's character is To Be Determined. You guys will meet him much later. So that will be fun in the future. We are really excited to start streaming. Really hope that everyone had a wonderful holiday and that you have a wonderful New Year's and that you are staying safe and healthy.
I fixed it.
Yay!
That was on me.
Yay! That's all right. We got it fixed. Thanks for your help. Thanks for all the help, chat.
Yes, thank you. Here I am trying to be proactive and have everything ready to go, and then nope, it's fine.
That's okay. That's okay.
You guys are seeing anything hinky, hearing echoes or anything, because we are trying to fix it. We want to make sure that we have everything running smoothly. As
Just like that.
Younger, we are not associated with the brand or the company of Disney. Anything in the campaign that is similar or anything does not reflect the company or the stories or anything like that. This is all for fun, entertainment, and because we're all nerds. So
What? Wait, are we?
Yes? What?
No.
Oh,
What?
wow. Now that you mention it.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit. That's fine.
I have a crossover nerd shirt on tonight. I mean, all right. All right.
Anyways.
So, with that, I believe we're ready to begin. So,
All right. So
let us know, Sarah.
Yeah. Here we go. Part 1 of part 2. Yeah.
Part 2 of part 1, the beginning, but also not.
The next morning, Winnie woke up to find herself cuddled up with a familiar blue tiefling. As Calamity woke as well, they quickly embraced, crying and letting out exclamations of joy. This alerted the others, who quickly rushed to Winnie's room, each taking a turn to welcome Calamity home. The warm welcome didn't last long, as the conversation began to turn to the sword Friendly had. When Rose went to get it, she noticed an additional glowing rune on the sword. The girls questioned Friendly, but he brushed them off. Things then got heated as Calamity took the sword and flew out the window on her broom. The bickering continued until Friendly stormed off. Winnie explained everything that happened while Calamity was gone, and Calamity told them about the time she called Purgatory. She had been sent to some different plane, where she had to take on hellhounds, puzzles, mazes, and cultists. As she was attacked by the cult, it led her down a dark hallway where she was met by Chernabog, the god of lies, who had been hunting her ever since she escaped his grasp. She only managed to get away because of the Raven King's help. Meanwhile, Friendly worked out his anger in the forge. When he finally came out, Rose was waiting for him. They had a heartfelt discussion, and Friendly agreed to get rid of the sword. The next day, the rest of the party went shopping, while Friendly made a sword at the forge. He returned to the tavern with the finished weapon, but felt power start to resonate from the sword. The curse had attached to him. It didn't matter the weapon he used anymore. The group returned to the tavern to find a very drunk Friendly, who explained the new updates on the curse. That night, Nova appeared to Winnie in her dreams again, and when Winnie asked about curses, suggested they go to a temple of Mistral, goddess of magic, or Shanti, goddess of life. Friendly also dreamed that night. He saw memories from the group's past. It began happily, before flashing to all the times his friends almost died. Then he heard a voice saying, "How can you protect them without me?" Friendly requested that it give him the strength to keep them safe, and there was a warm feeling from the sword on his hip, a confirmation of that promise. The next day was another day of shopping. Calamity and Winnie got tattoos, both magical and normal, before Winnie, Rose, and Kane headed off toward the library. They researched a multitude of things about deities and magic. Afterward, they headed to the street where all the temples resided. Winnie found a small building with a simple Nova shrine. Lauren, the woman inside, welcomed her and was amazed to meet someone who talked to Nova. Excited about meeting someone so important to Nova, Lauren gave Winnie a necklace with a symbol of Nova on it. They all entered the Temple of Mistral and were greeted by a dragonborn man. After explaining the issue, he informed them that the High Priestess Alexandri was currently away helping with an issue in Atlantica. The group returned to the tavern, making plans to leave the next day to travel towards Marantine. During their travels, things mostly went well, until Friendly went off by himself to fight hyenas during his watch alone, knowing full well the sword was empowered by each creature it killed. However, they made it to Atlantica in one piece. During their first night there, Friendly was awoken in the middle of the night by his name being whispered. He looked around, and the only thing he could see was the full moon framed in their small window. It shone into the room, a few of the beams hitting the sword. He went over to the weapon and picked it up. As he began to talk to the weapon, the voice faded away. The group woke up the next morning, ate breakfast, and headed out to the small mystical temple they had been told about. Upon arriving, they found the front doors closed and a woman standing outside, who informed them that the temple was closed, but that she would be happy to pray with them. They asked to see the High Priestess, but she was busy. Upon questioning a bit further, the woman accidentally blurted out that there was a rift to the abyssal plane that had opened beneath the temple. The group pushed past her, planning on helping, when they ran into the High Priestess. She informed them that this rift had also created a non-magic field around it, and that she did not want civilians getting hurt. Disappointed and frustrated, they headed to Shanti's temple, a large building with a glass roof and plants that were growing everywhere. Calamity, Kane, and Winnie ran forward, reaching the doorway first. Kane stepped through, while Winnie and Calamity hit some kind of an invisible wall that seemed to only affect them and Bubba. A clergyman appeared, explaining that since this was the temple of the goddess of life, people who were resurrected or reincarnated could not enter. Reeling from this information, Friendly decided to wait outside with them, while Rose and Kane talked to the cleric, who explained that the High Priestess resided in Merovingian. Frustrated with the dead ends that were popping up, they decided to explore the city. They spotted a sign for Atlantis tours, and decided to test it out where they met Milo, Helga, and Captain Rourke. Milo had also seen the mermaid from Rose's dream. though he admitted his dreams stopped for a while before telling him to come to Atlantica. They were getting ready to try to find Atlantis even if they didn't have the Shepherd's Journal. Rose finally revealed the journal, and the group was invited to join the expedition. They then discovered that Helga had a new kind of weapon, which she got in Norhurst Le Choux from an inventor. They were then informed that they leave in a week and a half.
So, part 1 of that. He really meant well. He meant so well. So that's where hello comes from.
Hello?
Hello.
Absolute idiot. Though it was so funny because Sarah was already late to the stream, and we started, and I went, Sarah, and she went, oh no.
That is true. That is true.
Yeah, I had gotten home. I went shopping earlier, and I bought myself an Apple Watch for work purposes. And I'm stuck in traffic, and they're like, "Oh, hey, we're getting started." And I said, "Fuck, great." And then I got home, and they're like, "We'll wait for you." Yeah, it's true. You do 100%. Yes, panic. Yes. And then I literally sat down. I'm currently in the process of opening my Apple Watch so I can charge it to, like, play with it. It's technology. I want to play with it. And then so friendly. Fuck. Wait. Yeah.
No,
yes.
I'm not ready. I'm not ready.
Another fun fact about the sword that he created. So his whole life he struggled with being a half elf. Super fun. But on the sword that he made before, the curse kind of was like, oh, hey, by the way, I'm on you, not just the weapon. So.
Can't get out of it this easy. Yeah.
And in Elvish, it said, I am
so
strong enough.
To make the sword.
He was. It said,
so
I am
excited.
strong enough in Elvish. It was just really cute.
Yeah. And then the curse was like, no.
The curse is like, I live.
Fuck that curse. Fuck that curse. Fuck that curse.
I think my favorite part of this entire thing was the fact that Rose could have taken remove curse
at any time.
Shut up!
For like 3 levels.
I know this
then
now.
Realized after friendly was too far.
Yeah.
I missed it. I just missed it on the wizard spell list. I completely missed it. I don't know how.
Yeah.
It's okay. It was super fun. All right. Well, shall we move on to part 2?
Before we start, can I have what time we're at? Because my audio freaked out 30 seconds in, and I was like,
5:43. 5:43.
Thank you. Let me get there real quick.
I sent them all copies of the audio so that they didn't have to listen to the stream, so that their reactions were delayed. So hopefully this works better.
Last time.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm good now. We're good now.
Okay.
Ready? Here we go. Part 2.
Right.
During the week, the gang split up. Winnie trained to be a priestess at the Temple of Nova, while Rose and Milo researched together. Kane and Calamity went off on their own, while Friendly decided to spend time with each of his party members, as well as do a few job board missions. He ended up being hired to clear out a horde of goblins, causing his sword to power up even more, which he eventually admitted to Calamity. On the 7th day of them being there, Rose visited the Temple of Mistral as she had each morning. This time, there was no one at the door, and one of the windows was boarded up. Inside were burn marks across the floor, and she quickly messaged everyone to come to the temple. Once they all arrived, they hurried down the stairs, approaching the chamber below. They all felt the magic fade from their bodies as they stepped around the corner. Inside the room was the priestess, as well as 3 other followers, one of them currently bleeding on the ground. They were fighting off imps, hellhounds, and spine devils. The group quickly joined the fight, but Calamity was gripped by fear as she saw the hellhounds, mind immediately going back to purgatory. As the fight went on, many of the magic users felt useless, so they focused on helping the clergy and the high priestess. In a fit of panic, Calamity asked Friendly to get rid of the beasts. As he made the final blow, his hair went black. and his eyes turned yellow. The curse had taken its hold. The party was distraught, and when they tried to help, Friendly got defensive. They eventually had to knock him unconscious and chain him to a bed while they waited for the priestess to rest until the next morning. In Friendly's dream, he was in a large, dark stone cavern. He walked forward, stepping into a large room where he found Hades lounging on his throne. The god greeted him as his knight, expressing his annoyance that it had taken so long. He assured Friendly that he would get him out of the temple so that the half-elf could continue to empower himself for the deity. The sun rose the next morning, and the high priestess entered, limping with burns and slightly healed wounds on her body. After they explained the situation, she approached the bed, but Rose noticed a familiar smell in the air. A small bead of magic appeared, and the Raven King's voice cried out, "Asha, no!" just as a wall of fire appeared. The Raven King managed to get in between them and the wall, creating a translucent black barrier that kept the magic at bay. Friendly's chains melted away, and he stood from the bed as a portal opened behind him. Rose tried to stop him, but couldn't get through the barrier. Friendly smiled at Rose, telling her that this was unpreventable before removing the ear cuffs Winnie made for him and dropping them on the bed. He stepped through the portal, and it disappeared with the wall of fire. The Raven King dropped to the ground, his cape slightly singed, and all the skin burned from his body. As Calamity hurried over to him, he warned that Hades had gotten stronger and disappeared to recover in his own domain. As everyone split up to grieve, Winnie went to talk to Nova at the temple. She woke up in a familiar field, walking over to where Nova waited. The goddess expressed her sympathies, but said there was nothing she could do. She informed Winnie that Hades was not the only deity who had tried to get to Friendly. Saloon, the moon goddess, had tried to contact him, and Nova commented on how he might be a good warrior for the Raven King as well. Nova assured she would help as much as she could. The evening before they were supposed to leave, Calamity asked to speak to Rose on the roof. She told her of things that she and Friendly had spoken about, pulling out the unfinished ring he had given her for safekeeping. She told Rose that Friendly hadn't wanted to give it to her yet, but Calamity knew she needed it now more than ever. During this conversation, Winnie received another message from Ryder. He said that he had been following Friendly, who had massacred an entire town in Lashu.
My bad. That's on me.
I'm gonna cry again.
I just want to say that when Friendly got taken over completely, Sarah messaged me and went, "I think he's gonna destroy the ear cuffs," and I went, "Oh, don't do that! Oh, don't do that! No, don't do that! It's already too hard. Don't do that."
So, okay, here's the thing. You know when Sarah was boasting that Friendly got to go on a date with everybody, on his date with Winnie, she painted a portrait of him, be like, "Hey, this is how I see you," and there were like thin little silver tips, on his ears in that portrait. So like her making them a real thing when she had the paints to do so was like super big deal. Yeah. So like he just left them and she's like,
He wasn't really in a good state of mind at the time.
that's one way to phrase it.
Really? Really? Understatement of the year. Fucking hell.
I think the worst part about that initial like fight though was that Winnie wasn't even there. She was training.
Mm-hmm.
She was paladin training, and like she's like, I really gotta go. And she shows up, she's like, I should have been here, and she wasn't, and she still kicks herself for that. I mean, we've resolved the problem, but oh my god.
Like the girls have like we've talked through to death. Like the girls all blame themselves.
Yeah,
like
it's funny. I feel like the one that should be blaming themselves the most maybe does, but it doesn't feel like it most of the time. Like at all.
He absolutely does.
Oh, he does.
Oh,
he yeah.
And it was very much supposed to be like a hard battle because all of the magic was gone, and Winnie, you hadn't even gotten a level in Paladin yet. And everyone else was like magic user.
I hit something with a dagger
so
once
cinematic
in that battle, and I was so proud of
It's like a
myself.
historical moment.
It was so cinematically beautiful.
I hit something with a weapon. Oh god, yeah.
Like the
Fuck.
whole battle,
It hurts so bad.
oh, it was so good though. Because like when Kane left the room, the last thing he saw was Friendly Sentinel to keep him from chasing after. As he's dragging one of the downed clergy members out of the room, and then he goes over and he kills another one. He goes, "This is really bad." And then everyone else leaves the room, and he just looks over at Calamity, who is frozen in fear, staring down this hellhound. And he's trying to break her out of it, and then eventually he does, and she just says, "You have to kill them." He goes, "Okay," and he kills it, and then bye bye, Friendly.
Yeah.
Any other time, I'm so grateful for players that have Sentinel, except when it comes to you.
You don't get Sentinel anymore because that's
It's
ridiculous.
like it was the bane of our existence.
Look, I only used
really
it against
was.
more
When you were
you.
stupid for a fight.
When you have to start it with
Okay,
love.
Also, when like because what
If
had
you ever
happened was
play
the
Fighter,
rest
get
of us had
Sentinel.
all made it out. Yeah, the rest of us had all made it out of this like basin where all that shit was happening. We were all in like the main area. We could use our magic again. And like Friendly's the last one down there. He comes out and he is changed. And I just remember like my blood ran cold. Like,
Oh,
All I was told was like you kill the hellhound and you feel the power enter the sword, and then you feel it continue, and your hair goes black and your eyes go yellow, and you are now lawful evil. And I was
You're
like,
now chaotic.
or
no,
chaotic
evil.
chaotic
You're now
evil. And I was
chaotic
like,
evil. And now level 3 remove curse doesn't work anymore.
It's fine. It's fine. We made
Not
it
like
work.
I had it anyways.
So I got to go on hiatus as Friendly. It was great.
Yeah. But
Also,
but I think like the other like big like at least like I don't know what you were gonna go to, but I was gonna like go to the very very emotional like RP conversation that was had after Friendly got like evac'd out of there, like after Hades bamfed him out.
I think that comes next in the next.
No, we got there because that was when the Raven King intervened, and so like there was some talk of like what happens if we like some talk like from Calamity and Winnie and Kane from the others about okay, what happens if we have to fight him, what happens if we have to kill him, and like Rose was arguing no, like she couldn't do it, she wasn't going to be able to do it, and that was when Rose said out loud for the first time to anybody that she loved Friendly. And of course it was in that context and not to him. But
well, there were a lot of things that happened prior to the battle that actually happened like canonly, not chronologically. We did them post him leaving, but he went out.
The story, the narrative.
Yeah. So he went out and he had a sparring match with Calamity. And he went and he had a date with Rose. Oh, she destroyed him. It was great. Absolutely wonderful. But I mean, not that he didn't like taunt her for it, because he totally did.
Because he's an ass.
And she also cheated though. They had agreed no magic.
Oh, they hadn't
used magic. Yes, they had. They had
agreed. Well, technically, Friendly was like no magic, right? And Cal was like, yeah, sure, yeah, that's fine. So was that really an agreement? I mean,
yes. I was under the impression no magic. It's fine though.
But you were saying.
All right.
You also goaded her on because you were like, I'm only gonna hit her once, and then she was just like, Pah!
Yeah, it was
the irony.
Like, okay, it's on now.
It was good.
I got my 2 attacks.
It was good.
Yeah, no, you 100% deserved it.
Oh yeah. They had their conversation. And
5 different things to choose from, and you went after the book, and then you went after the other thing that you could kill.
Well,
do you know what she was doing?
I will say, when Friendly went to go do the goblin thing, he 100% used up every spell slot he had before using the sword. And then he used the sword. Yes, he also almost set it on fire, which would totally defeat the purpose of him clearing out the goblins. But we don't talk about that. It's fine.
Apparently we do.
Old barn, fireball.
Apparently.
It works.
It's fine. It's fine.
This next part, I know you got, because we ended the session very soon after that.
Yeah.
Basically, as you guys were on your way to the next area, which, as many of you can guess, is Atlantis.
Super fun.
On the way to the next area, I went, "Hey, Sarah, so I know you said you had a backup character already, because I made you have a backup character so long before.
Yeah.
Because I knew Friendly was going to pull some shit.
Yeah.
And then
it was good.
I went, okay, you can keep that character and I can integrate them in. Or you can play an Atlantean, and you went, oh!
I went, yes. And thus Raya was
going to be
born.
a little longer before you come in.
Oh,
Okay. We'll meet her very soon.
Okay. So the next section, I'm like listening to the whole thing. Because I'm waiting just for my new character to be introduced. And literally the session starts and Cal does the one thing Friendly asked her not to do. And here it is. You ready for this? It's great. It's great.
Oh, it already happened. We already got to it. Yeah, the ring. Yeah.
Gave her the ring.
Yeah.
Yeah, we already got that part of the recap. Yeah. Yep. Calamity, yeah. She needed it, okay? Rose needed it.
Okay.
She needed it real bad.
Yeah, it was just like, I was like, I told you not to give it to her. I told you not to. It's not ready yet. It's not ready.
And then you left. And you left. Yeah. You don't get a choice after you leave.
Okay. So, Atlantis.
All the defeat in your voice.
So,
wow. What a segue. I made a mistake, but under the sea.
Under the sea. Okay. All right.
The next morning they set off, sailing out onto the open ocean for a few days, where they then used the submarine Audrey had built to reach Atlantis. Milo and Rose directed them toward a large crevice, when suddenly a sea dragon leviathan grabbed onto their boat. Most of them were able to escape in the pods or with the use of magic, but found themselves in a large open cavern. They made it through many puzzles, but were eventually attacked by firebugs. After a few explosions, they were scattered into a chasm. Rose landed away from the group, barely conscious with a cut on her forehead. As she opened her eyes, she saw a large masked figure bending over her, but it ran when the rest of the party came around the corner. They all hurried after the masked figures, finding themselves on a cliff. After a rocky introduction, the masked figures revealed themselves as Atlanteans and led them to the city. Princess Kida and Raya, the captain of the guard, escorted them to the throne room, where the king demanded they leave. Rourke requested time to gather supplies, which was granted, and Raya was placed in charge of guarding them. After a bit of convincing, Raya gave them a tour of the city. Kida then kidnapped Rose and Milo for questions about their world. On the morning of their final day, Rose woke from a message from Milo saying Kida wanted to meet them outside. She snuck away from the group, and Kida led them to a flooded area. They dove in, swimming to a large sunken mosaic. It explained all about the heart of Atlantis and how it protected the people there. It was then that Rose noticed another mosaic, half buried. She swam over to examine it and discovered the woman from her dreams. Her name was Umberlee, also known as the Bitch Queen. She was the deity of the sea. She had been jealous of Atlantis and didn't like that they were creating floating islands on her domain. After her demands that they pay tribute were refused, she attacked. Atlantis sank, but the heart protected the capital, pulling it far beneath the ocean. Umberlee wasn't able to locate it and has been searching ever since. While this was happening, the Atlantean research crew attacked the rest of the party. They awoke to guns pointed at their heads and were told that if they fought, their friends would die. Rourke led them to Kida, Milo, and Rose, waiting for them to surface. As soon as they did, they too were captured. It was then Rose realized that Rourke and Helga had symbols of Umberlee around their necks, two waves crashing away from each other. They dragged their prisoners to a clearing in front of the throne room, where an altar with runes had been set up. Everyone was forced to stay outside, while Rourke and Helga dragged Rose, Milo, and Kita into the throne room. They burst in and began to look for the heart of Atlantis, even punching the king in anger. They eventually found their way underneath the throne room, where Kita was taken by the heart of Atlantis. Back outside with his new prize, Rourke began to perform a ritual. He summoned strange fish minions, and the fight began. The further his ritual got, the more intense the situation became. The volcano began to erupt, and the rocks above the city cracked, sending water pouring down. As Rhea got the killing blow, stabbing Rourke through the chest, Milo and Rose heard a scream in their minds from Umberly, followed by a threat. "You will pay for this." Using the power of the heart of Atlantis, Kita stopped the lava flow from hitting the city, and the rocks above sealed again. Kita was released and returned to her people. After discovering that Kita's father had died, she and Raya went to grieve before Raya requested permission to leave her position and travel to the surface to research the dangers. Kita requested that she appoint a new captain of the guard so that she could become the queen's personal guard when she returned. They came back out to the party and thanked them. Kita gave Rose a crystal that she thought would help her in looking for Friendly, before suggesting they rest before heading out the next day.
So now Raya is here. She is here. She is here to do the good things. She is a good bean.
She's so much fun.
Now we're on volume 2 of the notes.
Yeah.
Hey!
Yay, Krista.
Fucking hell.
And there's
dear
the
Lord.
necklace.
That's the other arcane focus. But fuck.
That was fun.
We'll get to that part later, but I remember Sarah texting me again going, I feel like he would do this, but I don't want to leave Rose without an arcane focus.
Yeah.
I went, oh no, you're
got
good.
2.
Don't worry about it. She's got one.
It was great.
We'll get there. We'll get there later.
Let me make it as convenient as possible as your DM to implement more pain.
But yeah, okay. Just like all the oh my god.
Now that is
getting to Atlantis. Oh my god.
Two evil deities.
Okay.
Who will have grudges against someone in the party.
Oh, yeah.
It's fine.
We love them.
It was
What could possibly go wrong?
Ellie, you have a way about you that attracts these bitchy
thank you.
deities.
Yeah.
That
Thank you for noticing. Like, I tried so hard.
they just come to you. It's so easy.
It just happens.
Oh boy.
You know, you say that, but I think we accidentally like came to them. And
Yeah.
It's so one of those 100%. Like, if it weren't for you meddling kids, like,
Yeah.
we just are meddling kids, and now we've got gods and goddesses that hate our guts.
Oh, one of my favorite Rose moments happened during this section when Rorik and Helga took Milo and Rose and Kita down to where the heart was. Rose, would you like to explain what your wizard human self did to this?
Okay,
fighter
hold on. I want to interject real quick. My friendly side reeled at this. I was so upset. My Raya side was like, yes, girl, yes, good job.
So Rourke had like a gun to my back, like trying to get me to like tell him how the heart of Atlantis worked and all that shit, and was going on about like trying to destroy the city or whatever. And first I called him a fucking imbecile. And
worth it.
And then when Kita was like doing her whole like ascension shit, like Rose tried to punch him in the face.
A human wizard first jumps into the ocean to save a child, and then tries to punch a gunner in the face who's twice her size.
She was mad, okay?
No.
You know, in Rose's defense, every once in a while, it's nice to be the one that gives out the D4 damage, okay?
It's true.
I think you actually hit. You didn't do very much damage, but you actually hit.
I think
Yeah.
I'm like
Again,
yeah, that may have been it. I don't know.
my-
She didn't
my-
was her best.
My friendly
Seriously?
side was like, why? My Raya side was like,
Yeah.
go girl, yeah, do it.
You have a
Wait, wait,
minus
wait.
1 to your modifier of strength, right?
yeah.
A minus.
Oh
one?
no! I found it!
Okay.
I tried to fight Rourke. I either tried to hit him or I tried to catch a speller at him, and he decked me in the face. That's what it was.
He hit you with the gun.
That's what it was.
Nah, bitch.
You fucking just
Pistol
like
whipped her.
decked me. It was
Pistol whipped you.
It was.
So as you do when you're a kidnapper and your hostages act up.
What else was I supposed to do?
Nothing.
No.
Yes, absolutely. What a dick.
Not-
He
that's not us.
chloroformed me. Raya
Yeah,
got
well,
chloroformed.
Yeah, he knew you were a problem.
Yeah, fantasy chloroform. It's right there.
It comes in later too.
What?
We
It
have
does?
such-
We're
Who?
not
Who
there yet.
does that? No.
We have the most chipper
never.
sing-alongs.
Oh yeah.
But yeah.
We're gonna try and not. We're
Oh.
hoping the stream will keep us from doing this, but we get distracted with singing really easy because one, we're all nerds, so we all like to sing
Yeah.
Disney songs, and like that's how we deal with the trauma apparently. Because we'll get there in Agrabah, but we went on a 30-minute YouTube
It's in the notes somewhere.
binge on recording of people playing the
Different covers of music from Aladdin.
Yeah.
Is what it
Bad
was.
Bad
Which we
recorder.
won't be doing
Bad
once
recorders.
we're streaming our session.
and it was great.
Yes, yes.
It was so great. Oh, you'll get.
One more note.
Don't worry.
Oh,
One more-
Don't worry.
One more sad note before we go on to the next thing. But I found in my notebook these 2 pages, and then the next
throw those
one.
Away. Throw those away right now.
No,
I don't
and then
need
this
to cry
this
tonight.
page here are a letter that Rose wrote to Friendly their first night in Atlantis because she was
I
sad and
cried.
upset, and they had met, and she's like, it was like just going on about like she tried to send messages to him too, like also just like point of order the entire time he was gone, like whenever she had spell slots left, she was trying to send him messages like before bed, and like none of them got through, but
Nope.
whatever, it's fine.
Yep,
But-
it was great.
But yeah, that letter's in here, Sarah.
Don't worry, you will get singing. I
we're
sang
playing.
Aria during the first session. You're gonna
Oh,
get singing. Don't worry.
Yeah, no, I did cry. So we're sitting here. I can't remember what session it was. It was after the whole thing happened, and I just get a message from Nat going, "Hey, did you know I wrote a letter to Friendly?" And I said, "No." It's like, "You want to read it?" And I said, "Yes, yes, I want to read it." And then I cried. I cried a lot.
Yes, you don't know how many
First of a few.
because I work very early in the mornings because I work in the stock market. So I wake up really early and I'm at work early and I leave early because the stock market closes. But I don't know how many times at like 7:30 in the morning I wrote a thing for Rose, have it. And I'm like, okay, I guess I'm reading this today.
We love Rose. We love her.
I found another song for Rose.
She's a good bean.
Okay.
Like, the playlists are
Her
great.
playlist is extensive. Her playlist has like 40 plus tracks on it. Like there's a lot.
Oh yeah, and it's great because
And I have a whole write up for why every song is on there.
And it's great.
it's great because Fairy and Rose
Zero
have
chill.
very similar backgrounds, and so a lot of songs will come up for Fairy.
There's a little crossover there.
Natalie,
Yeah.
Natalie, it works for Rose. Take
You have found a couple songs that like that you got like were thought of like for Fairy, and then they work for Rose too. There are a few. Yeah.
And then
The
we got
songs that
our-
make me cry the most on Winnie's playlist are the ones that you sent me, Natalie. Great job. Thank you.
Pride myself on
She's
that.
really good at coming up with emotional songs that just make you want to rip your heart out. Our
It's-
entire
it's good
Merkin
where it
Crown
is.
playlist.
Just
Our
hang it in
entire
there.
Merkin Crown
Yeah.
playlist. I listen to songs
Yeah,
and then I'll
yep,
go
yep.
into Wawa in my morning routine and picking up my coffee. And then What About Us just follows me everywhere. Everywhere.
Yeah, that would be the song that we added to that playlist after the whole curse thing set in. What About Us by Pink. Yeah.
It was great. It was great.
Why?
What was it, Wawa? That's got a good ring to it.
Yep.
in line crying.
I was gonna say, Abby came to visit me. Abby came to visit me, and we walked into Wawa, and I kid you
was
not,
playing.
What About Us was playing. And I was like, this song just follows me. Me.
I was just trying to get a
yes.
quesadilla. You were having a breakdown.
I'm pretty sure that Natalie wants a curse, if not more.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, definitely.
I already have some. Thank you
Natalie
very much in that campaign.
for more. She's volunteering for more.
No curses.
Annabelle's got plenty.
I mean, we're good on curses. Like our curse quota, this filled for all of 2021.
She definitely wants
We're
more.
bugged. Stupidity of her boyfriend is kind of a curse.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. He's a dumbass, but he's not stupid.
He's a dumbass, but he's not stupid. He does what he does out of love and his desire to be what he is. I won't say it.
Protection fighter.
Yeah, that one. He's a that. He's a very proud of that.
He's good at it.
He is good.
He's
not allowed to say that anymore.
He's emotions forward, and like you can't really blame him for that. I mean, I have nowhere to talk. That's Fiddle. Emotions first. So
I love
thanks. He loves you too.
Guys, I think I have a note from that section in here. Like, why is Rose so bad at emotions? Like, it's here somewhere.
Because her upbringing didn't let her have them.
Fact.
Yeah.
We're working on it. Rose's parents again tonight at some point, so we can get to that later.
Yeah.
That's the last section.
We love to see it.
Oh yeah. All right,
Anyways,
ready?
shall we?
Yeah.
Next part. 1401.
Volume 2.
1409.
Winnie received another message from Ryder that evening. He told her that Friendly had come to the Raven King Temple in Blackpool and attacked him and the High Priest with the intention to kill. A ship was prepared for them the next morning with enough supplies to make it back to their boat. On the way back to shore, Winnie told everyone about what Ryder had been telling her through his messages. She also explained that she might have to leave soon in order to finish her training with Nova. Rose decided to scry on Friendly with her new spell. She saw him standing in front of Hades in full black plate metal armor with gold detailing. Hades was frustrated with Friendly that he did not manage to kill Ryder and the High Priest, but said they would try again the next time he was in Maldonia to finish the plan. Friendly was dismissed to continue training with his fully powered sword, and Rose watched him battle until her spell faded. The party finally arrived at the docks of Atlantica and bid the Atlantis group farewell. Raya was immediately overwhelmed with all the new things of the surface world. As they walked through the streets with their new companion, they noticed a red-headed girl who was acting very similarly to Raya. She was running from stall to stall, enthralled with the items at each place. A man followed her, smiling at her enthusiasm. The woman accidentally bumped into Rose and immediately acted apologetic, though did not speak. As the man walked up behind her and apologized, Rose recognized him as Prince Eric, the royalty of this kingdom. They talked with the girl, who they learned was named Ariel, for a while before she got distracted and dragged Eric off with her. That evening, Rose was unable to sleep, so she climbed to the rooftop to clear her mind. She prayed to the wishing star for a moment before hearing an entrancing voice traveling across the breeze. She spotted a woman on the beach and decided to go investigate. She approached her, but then Prince Eric came out, taking her into the castle with him. Calamity, on the other hand, was not so entranced by the singing, more irate that someone was doing so in the middle of the night. She woke Winnie and they went to investigate, finding Rose walking back along the beach. With Winnie's help, Rose broke out of the charm. The girls decided the whole situation was a bit suspicious, so they went to investigate. Calamity made a distraction at the front gate while Winnie and Rose tried to sneak in on the broom, only to get caught. They all quickly made an escape and decided to deal with it in the morning. When they woke, there was a large announcement on the board of the tavern for the wedding of Prince Eric and Vanessa, who was the woman from the night before. Suspicion rose in the group at the quickness of the marriage, so they decided to crash the wedding, not trusting this Vanessa woman. They used Winnie's last name to get aboard the ship, pretending to be the entertainment. They were informed that Winnie's sister was already getting ready for the wedding, as she offered her services as well. Locating the proper room, they entered to find Harmony sitting in a vanity, who immediately began to throw insults at Winnie. After some bantering, Winnie threw magic paint onto Harmony's dress, causing the girl to freak out and order the guards to throw them off the ship. After being escorted to the docks, they messaged Kane to make sure he and Raya stayed aboard the ship before waiting for the ship to depart. As the ship began to sail away, they noticed Ariel on the end of the dock. The girls approached and explained their concerns about Vanessa. Worried, Ariel immediately started to swim after the boat. Calamity transformed herself to help her swim, while Rose and Winnie took off on the broom. On the boat, the wedding began. As the girls got closer, Hubert began to call out to the other animals while flying towards the ship. The sea creatures in the area climbed onto the ship and began to make a fuss, interrupting the wedding. The party attacked, and soon Vanessa revealed herself to be a half-octopus woman who grabbed Ariel. Ariel's legs changed into a tail, and Ursula dove into the water with her. This seemed to break the spell on Eric, who insisted on going with the party. They dove into the water and began to swim after the sea witch, who disappeared into a cavern. They followed, but didn't notice the rune on the floor. After it flashed, they suddenly found themselves lying on the ground, looking up at the ocean now floating above them. They found themselves in a strange place with neon-colored plants. Unknown creatures roam the world, ranging from large to small, predator to prey. They managed to find a goblin who helped them with directions to the lair of Tamatoa, where they would find a rift that would lead them back home. They made their way to a large shell containing the crab. Calamity moved forward to scout ahead, but got distracted by all the gold and jewels that were scattered throughout the cavern. She moved forward to grab one of the large pearls, but alerted Tamatoa, who grabbed her and demanded to know what she was doing in his cave. The rest of the party ran forward to rescue her, but the crustacean used his abilities to charm most of the group, who remained that way for much of the fight. Finally, Rose managed to break from his spell and transform him into a regular-sized crab. Calamity went back to looting the cave, while the group headed towards the door that Kane had found behind a waterfall. As they stepped into the room, they found themselves in complete darkness. After battling some animated vines and water, and solving a puzzle room that forced each of them to enter through a different door, they found themselves with large bubbles floating in front of them. As they touched them, each person was immersed in their worst nightmare. Raya was back in Atlantis, watching it be destroyed and her friends killed by Umberlee. Kane saw Bubba's dead body along with his dead brother, then his father appeared and taunted him. Calamity watched Chernabog murder her friends. Winnie watched Friendly murder the party while she was helpless, and then saw herself on stage with everyone laughing at her and Brio taunting her. Rose watched her friends die while she had no magic, then found herself being forced to marry Franz before Friendly appeared and chided her for being so easily fooled into thinking he loved her. Everyone eventually ended up in a room with the rift, all shaken before they stepped through. They found themselves on top of a plateau on an island with strange black veins running along the ground, and a village near the beach. Making their way to the village, they were surprised to find Moana and her crew there. The captain was confused as to why they were there, but after hearing their story, explained that they had been to Lalotai, the realm of monsters. Calamity stayed outside while the group went to talk to Moana. She was still very shaken by the nightmare bubbles and decided to talk to the Raven King. While he did not physically appear like he usually does, she could still feel his presence. She asked if sacrificing herself to Chernabog would keep her party safe, and Galleon explained that it would not. Chernabog would only take over everything without a second thought. He did his best to comfort her, apologizing that he was unable to be there physically because he was still recovering. Moana agreed to help the party fight Ursula, giving them a place to rest for the night. They woke the next morning, most of them exhausted, and made their way towards the ships with Moana's crew to head towards Ursula's lair. On the way, one of the crewmen explained that Moana was chief of this village. When Ursula attacked with the help of Umberlee, almost everyone was killed, including Moana's parents. Upon arrival at their location, Moana dove into the water before the others. When they followed, they discovered her legs had been transformed into a tail. She explained that her mother was a mermaid, which was how she was so familiar with the Mer Kingdom. Ursula's lair turned out to be a maze, but they managed to find some treasure, fight some fish. Raya destroyed the Umberlee altar, and discovered a large room full of strange seaweed creatures, before finally making it to Ursula's lair, where they found her with a trident and Ariel locked in a cage. Ursula was defeated, but Ariel still didn't have her voice. They searched the lair and found a black crystal in the dust of the sea witch's remains, along with a golden shell necklace with a pearl, which was smashed by Raya, returning Ariel's voice.
I gotta remember to find the picture I've made of Eric in the no good, very bad, like terrible day.
Yeah,
So
so during the battle of against Ursula, Eric is just got nothing.
I can't roll for NPCs
Nothing.
to try and
Nothing.
help them fight for shit.
It was
Because Moana didn't do shit either. Moana was stuck in Ursula's tentacle the whole fucking time. I can't
but
roll
Eric
for shit
just kept
trying to fight with them.
trying. He just kept trying. Oh, it was.
Oh my god, there's so much to break down there, though. Get so mad every time I hear about Harmony. I'm like, why are you the way that you are? It's because of Bryn. Bryn's the why she's the way that she is. It's like, stop.
You just went, here's all of my sisters. Have fun. And I went, okay.
Each one has a paragraph for you to expand upon. Not like that. I know
it was either Harmony or Brio. You got Harmony.
I would rather have taken the ex-boyfriend. Oh my god.
We could have fought him. That would have been
we would have
great.
punched him and it would have been great. Not that Raya knows.
It's fine. No, it's just like I can't. I know it comes later. I know I'm getting ahead of myself. I cannot believe she had the audacity to write a 2-page letter home over a prank.
Winnie was mean to me, and she tried to ruin my performance.
I saved you from an ungodly octopus.
It was great.
The throwing the paint on her was so good.
It was illusion magic too. Like it slipped right back underneath the door, and nothing was wrong. But she was like,
"No harm, no foul."
Well, there's only harm if your name is Harmony. So
fact.
And I love Harmony is trying to become like she's trying to become like a sugar baby. It's
so
even Fairy said to Winnie, I remember this after our session. Fairy went, your sister was in town. Honey, she's trying too hard.
Oh, I remember that, yeah.
Fiddle's like, I'm just trying to be a religious woman.
Meanwhile, Raya's just trying to have a good time and experience the surface world.
It's not going well.
She's having a little trouble with the sky, but that's okay. She learns to love it.
It's weird if you spent 8,000 years without one.
True.
Yeah. Oh yeah, she's 8,550. Thank you, Atlantis.
Young at heart.
super young at heart. She collects little things that she finds interesting from the surface world. And at one point in the next section, I believe,
think so.
Yes, 8,550. She's a little old. She collects pine cones. And pine needles because they don't have them under the
She's like, I'm gonna go find this thing, and then came back with pine cones and was like, look what I found.
So cute, like painfully.
Also, Winnie gave her before. This is later, but like Winnie gives her a gift that is the best gift Raya has ever had in her entire life, and it's a bag where she can pull out one cookie a day, but it's a different cookie every time to try all the cookies because she's never had a cookie before. Because
it specifically said this in the item. It doesn't produce cookies with raisins.
Yeah, no oatmeal raisin cookies, which
I don't know why that was just the item.
I like oatmeal raisin cookies. I think they're delicious. Although Raya does not like almond flavored cookies, which is a problem that her and I need to have a chat with because those are my favorite.
Well, you rolled if she liked the cookie or not, and I'm like, no, Sarah, just tell me what baked goods you like, please.
all of them, just all of them. There's
during the nightmare bubble part.
I had so many all caps bits in my notes from the nightmares, by the way. Just going through all that. It's just like half of it is just all caps.
I had asked them a few weeks beforehand. I was like, what are your character's worst nightmares? And all of them, I was like, cool, that's exactly what I had. Thanks. And they were all just like,
But why?
I didn't expect you to use all of them.
Yeah, right? Oh, gosh.
You gotta save some for later.
Both Rose, you went, what is this, Pop?
No, that was
you were one of
Raya.
the people who immediately went up.
I was like, Raya was like, ooh, bubble, Pop.
Raya and Rose, I think, went up immediately. We're like, whoo.
And I will say,
Raya went first. Rose was curious, yes.
Winnie and Rose's bubbles had me crying. My poor boy.
I was like, I wrote it down because it was so fucking like intense. Like I was shaking.
Right?
Yeah.
Like him.
Absolutely.
Wow, you fell so quick.
Yeah. Yeah, like calling her a fool.
And I was like, I swear he loves her. I swear he loves you. I swear.
Yeah. And then followed by all the other like nightmares and self-doubt. And then like that was when she wrote another letter to him after
also
that.
made me cry.
And like tried to send him more messages and nothing. It's just like, oh god.
And then he got freaking Fiddle over here, who's being her best damn self and being badass, and then just my boy being dumb. He's just over here like, oh yeah, la-di-da, let's just slice you. Let's just slice you. It's great.
I mean, I think the worst part of that for her is literally like not 100%, but I'm gonna give like a solid 85 of the reason she even went with Paladin is because she needed to find a way to save him. And she thought that that was realistically going to be the only way that she was strong enough. So for her to see that just fail, she was lost again.
Nah, she's strong enough. She's strong. She's strong cookie. They're all strong.
I
promise Friendly does come to appreciate his team. He really does. Just not at the moment. Yeah.
It's fine. Just a technicality.
Yeah. Don't worry about it.
That's what like Raya and Cordelia were both like, yeah, pump up the team. Like basically the whole time. Not like pump up like that, but Raya was, I mean.
I was about to
Raya
say,
was.
like, Cordelia is a boring adult.
I mean,
but apparently so was
Rose, and so was Kane.
They got on so well, that's why.
Calamity and Raya were the only two who were not boring adults, according to people.
That's because we're awesome.
Yeah. Spoilers, but you know, it's fine.
No one likes Peter Pan in my world.
But we'll get to that.
No, honestly, I have someone I hate more than Peter Pan, and its name is TikTok Croc. I'm gonna
kill
kill
your own damn fault. You weren't supposed to go fight him by yourself.
I didn't mean to go fight him by ourselves.
We have so many big bads, but like the seething rage that comes from me from Peter Pan is unmatched.
Yeah.
It's
Well then, in that case, shall we?
Yeah. Peter Pan. I skipped ahead a little bit. Hopefully the pause is not as long, but it's probably, knowing me, going to jump right into the audio. So I'm ahead.
Where are you at then?
So it's gonna be great.
Fine.
Where are we?
We're gonna find out. I'll tell you in a second.
Your way back to
Yep, that's what.
All right.
Hold on.
And Brio taunting his father appeared and
No. I'm sorry. I try to be proactive and I just make things worse.
and used his
No.
to find a rift that would lead.
No. Where was it?
Dove into the water.
No, I
This seemed to
found a
break the spell.
TikTok scrolling through my For You page that I sent to everyone, and it was drawing Disney characters as villains, and it was Peter Pan, and I was just like, and then my friend who knows all about this, because she's in a different group that I'm in, sent me that on TikTok, and I was like, yep, yeah, I saw that.
Okay, hold on. I just have to see if this is the right spot.
And to call out to the other animals while flying towards the ship.
Okay, I went back too far this time. Ugh, I swear, I'll get this right, guys. I swear.
Being so easily fooled into thinking he loved her.
In conclusion, don't trust small children on an island.
No.
An Ariel locked in a cave.
Yes.
Never trust a redhead.
That she saw funny shadows at night. She talked with the girl a bit.
Never trust a redheaded child who sneaks up behind you at a
don't
weird
trust children. Don't trust
island.
The whole island just made me so angry.
There were all ages of children, but only a few boys
Good
who were
Lord.
under 10 years old left.
Wait,
They entered the
now you
orphanage
froze.
and met
It
Madame
froze.
Violet.
It
She
froze.
showed
We did,
Okay.
but I think the funny thing is like our party is always like, oh my god, a beach vacation would be so nice. Goes to a beach island. Half the OG party ain't even there, and we get this.
I think my favorite reaction was, which hook are we gonna get?
Yeah.
Which hook are we gonna get?
Which hook are we getting? Are we getting?
Please be the hot one. Please be the hot one. Please be the hot one.
Are we getting 1940s hook, or are we getting Once Upon a Time hook? We got Once Upon a Time hook. Okay, I think I got it.
Parted ways.
Okay, what time?
For now. They began to make their way toward Ankyra to put the newest crystal.
Sorry. I swear, I'm just trying to be helpful, and it's just backfiring.
A star Aasimar who had been a
Leah!
Oh, I love all the
my sweet baby
Those
Leah.
are my favorite.
That's Punchy. I love
Punchy the dragon.
I love Punchy.
their way back to Moana's ship, Ariel staying behind with her father who had been freed from Ursula's curse. The party decided to look over their spoils from the mage, and that was when Winnie revealed that she would need to leave in order to finish her training to become a champion of Nova. She was hoping it wouldn't have to be this way, but she needed to finish in order to help Friendly.
Yeah.
In the middle of this conversation, Kane announced that he wanted to find his father in order to get answers about his own past. This confused everyone, but they eventually agreed to help out the best they could. Back in Atlantica, Winnie went to the Temple of Nova. It was there she met Cordelia, a star Aasimar who had been a former adventuring champion of Nova, now turned priestess. Nova had called her out of retirement to help the party on their journey, while Winnie finished her training. Winnie spent the remainder of the day with her party before returning with them to the temple the next morning. Cordelia was introduced, and to everyone's surprise, recognized Calamity from when she was Asha. She had been the one to train Cordelia when she first became a champion of Nova. Winnie said her last goodbyes and they parted ways, for now. They began to make their way toward Ankyra to put the newest crystal into the obelisk, stopping in Ostale on the way and discovering that more children had started to go missing from Hamlin and now Corona. After putting the crystal into place, they made their way towards Hamlin to investigate. They made a quick stop to research in the library in Merovingian, also discovering that Princess Snow White was missing. The next day, they set off towards Westhaven. It took a few days, but they arrived and immediately went to the large orphanage on the edge of town. There was a gate surrounding the building, and kids were playing in the yard. There were all ages of children, but only a few boys who seemed under 10 years old left. They entered the orphanage and met Madame Violet. She showed them around, giving them all the information she had about the missing children. Meanwhile, Calamity stayed outside, going over to some girls who were having a tea party and asking to play with them. After getting to know them, she began to chat with what was happening until the girls got bored and went to play something else. The shy one of the group, whose name she learned was Sky, told Calamity that she saw funny shadows at night. She talked with the girl a bit more before going to meet up with the party. When Calamity asked about Sky, Madame Violet explained that the young girl had nightmares all the time. Though she did her best to help, it seemed to be the result of her traumatic past. As night came, they settled down in the children's room, each agreeing to keep a stealthy lookout in the night. They did their best to keep watch, however, a child was missing the next morning when none of them had noticed anything. Rose examined the boy's bed and found traces of necromantic magic. They headed into town to speak with the captain of the guard, Captain Judy Hops, a red-haired, human-looking woman who looked stressed beyond belief. She explained that she had been requesting assistance from Merovingian for many weeks now, but none had come. Now, there were voices heard from the woods on the far side of town, as well as children going missing. The party offered to help, to which she was very grateful. After the sun set, they began to search the woods for the voices. Eventually, they discovered pirates getting into boats and others who had already set sail. After managing to defeat the ones on the beach, they discovered a compass that didn't point north, but instead into the ocean. No matter where it turned, the compass only pointed towards the sea. They procured a boat and set sail, with some trouble, but with the help of the compass made their way through a fog to find a beautiful island where they docked and quickly made camp. The night was calm until the end of Calamity and Kane's watch, where they were startled by a loud voice behind them. They turned to find a young red-headed boy laughing at his prank and introducing himself as Peter. He was quick to deem Rose, Cordelia, and Kane boring adults and challenged Calamity and Raya to find his treasure. He told them a bit about the island and gave them a clue before flying off. The group made a plan and decided to split up. Raya and Calamity tried to find the treasure but were foiled and attacked by a large crocodile. They managed to escape and hurried back to the beach. The others decided to explore the island, getting a little distracted by sirens before making it to Skull Rock, where they found small skeletons tied to a pointed rock. The next day, the party decided to try their luck talking with the Indians. They attempted to fly, but hit an anti-magic field over the middle of the forest, so instead they decided to walk, eventually finding the fairies. The Queen of the Fairies explained that she had created the bubble over the area to protect them from the strange shadow that flew around at night. It stole people and took them to the mountain, never to be seen again. She told them that the pirates were dangerous and that the Indians kept to themselves. She offered them a safe haven for the night in the bubble. The next morning, they finished their trek toward the Indian village. When they arrived, it seemed abandoned. It wasn't until the last second that some of them noticed movement, but they were soon surrounded. The chief stepped forward, a woman with beautiful olive skin and long black hair known as Tiger Lily. She demanded to know why they were there and then begrudgingly answered some of their questions, revealing that they were originally from the island and were there before any of the others arrived. She explained that this place made people forget about their past, and the only way not to forget was to eat the fruit from the mountain. After this, they decided to talk with the pirates. It was here that they met Captain Hook. He explained that he and the rest of his crew were formerly Lost Boys. Hook had been there the longest and had escaped when Peter took him up to the mountain to sacrifice him to whatever god the boy worshipped in order to keep himself eternally youthful. All of the boys had eaten the fruit of the island, so they could never leave. Instead, they tried to rescue others from the same terrible fate. Peter had tricked most of the island, and they believed that Peter was good and Hook was the villain. The best way to save the boys and defeat Peter was to pretend to be Peter's allies. If they stayed close to him, he wouldn't suspect them as much.
Okay. So that's part 1. I tried to send you guys time code updates. So yeah, that was super fun. I hate TikTok Croc.
Yeah.
And I hate sirens.
I hate magical like memory fuckery magic.
Yeah, that was not fun.
Oh, rolling for that was consistently so nerve-wracking.
Also, I'd forgotten about this, but I was going through my notes. I also hate Tinkerbell.
Oh,
Tinkerbell literally did her little sparkle magic and basically called Rose a bitch.
Yeah,
Like,
turned me into a mouse. They turned me into a mouse.
it's really cute
That
though.
was just one of the pixies.
Oh, okay.
The pixies
Sorry.
were
The
just
fairies.
messing with them as they walked into the forest.
No, because I tried to polymorph Peter Pan, and then Tinkerbell called me a bitch.
Yeah,
Yeah, she did.
but they walked into this.
I was like, well,
forest,
I've been called worse.
And first they found the tiki faces, which nobody liked. It was just there were just faces on the trees, and they echoed everything, and everyone was like, "No, we're getting out of here."
Sarah loved him. Raya was done. She was not having it. Not having it.
But then you guys got to the pixies, and the pixies were just playing little pranks, and they turned Raya into a mouse.
So
and
weird.
Cordelia carried her around.
Yeah,
it was great.
Also in my notes, but is Captain Hook all caps hot though?
It was the hot one, you guys. Don't worry.
And then fast forward a few pages in larger print compared to everything else, it's the Once Upon a Time Hook.
Yep.
We were very concerned over which hook we were getting.
We were. It was a very important question.
Yeah.
I want to say
also. Sorry, real quick. Yes, Hook is very hot. So they were flying to Hook. They got shot at by cannons. And Raya got dropped from we were like 100 something feet in the air? I don't know, probably more. However, she literally got swept off her feet when this gorgeous Aasimar paladin babe swoops out with her gorgeous wings and literally catches her and then alights upon the deck of the ship like, "Oh, are you okay?" Like, my heart. What?
Well, giant eagle Rose is just like,
Bird Rose is one of my favorites.
Natalie's animal noises when she's polymorph are the best.
It makes me so happy.
Also, it wasn't just with the compass that we managed to sail there.
No.
It was also with the help of giant great white shark Rose.
Yeah. She's the one that
towing
pulled
the boat.
ship. She pulled the boat. I was not having fun with it. I was not having fun.
Polymorph is a great spell.
Yeah.
Rose?
Yeah, okay. Because you went to Captain Judy Hopps and was like, "We need a boat." And you were like, she was like, "I don't have a boat." So you went to the old drunk and
another
paid
problem.
30
Raya
gold.
doesn't understand what gold
I
is.
want 30 gold for my ship. And Raya went, "Okay, here's the money." And it was like a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And she was like, "Wait."
Yeah,
we have a bad habit of overpaying for things.
Especially Raya. She doesn't understand money, and she can't read or write, so she'll be like,
"Yeah, no,
yep, this is a paper."
But Rose started teaching her letters. Rose started teaching Raya to read and write Atlantean.
Yeah, I have a paper of her writing her name for the first time, which was really fun.
Oh yeah,
it was so cute.
So proud.
I have it somewhere, and I was like, I did it. Yeah.
Rose is so proud.
I, in any of the campaigns
so
I've ever played
proud.
in, have never had like children NPCs.
We have adopted Sky. She's
Then
ours.
I started
Yeah.
my campaign and had children NPCs because it's Disney. There has to be children. Like the very first session was you have to go save Russell from Up. Like,
Nah.
so,
Still didn't want to do it.
literally them going, I'm
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
adopt this child. I had never experienced that trope before, so this was a lot of fun. But I do love throwing in little things like Madame Violet, who owns the orphanage. She visited Corona when she was a child and met Cordelia at the Temple of Nova, and that is why she started her orphanage later in life. And so I love throwing in little details like that as well.
Super
So
cute.
fun little happy details as well.
We love the happy details.
Yes,
As
when Raya collected her pine cones.
Yeah, that was really fun because she'd go out for like morning jogs or whatever. She's buff girl, buff lady. She'd go out for morning jogs, and one of the things they had to do was investigate the forest. And she goes into the forest fully intent on searching for where these voices are coming from. But what's that? And then she came back with a whole bunch of pine cones, and it was great.
Also, we've had the whole like for a long time since the first session we had a compass that didn't point north. But we discovered another one.
What are the odds?
Well,
after children started going missing from all over Hamlet,
we
starting in Corona. So you know.
Didn't have access.
Oops.
Yeah, Henry did have it. Henry did have it.
Got once upon a time brain.
Crabgrass. Okay, I'm sorry.
Oh, that Henry. There we go.
It's so good.
They did have it. You also had the note. Winnie was the one who wanted to go after the children in the first place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first thing that she's like, I think that would be a smart thing to do. She wasn't even there for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fine. Yeah. It's fine.
It was good though. It was fun. So part 2 of Neverland. 2708. 2708.
All right.
Here we go.
So they decided to play Peter's game and find the treasure. They found a cave behind a waterfall and managed to find the boys' loot after maneuvering across a strange bridge, deciding to rest at the mouth of the cave that night. During Rose's watch, she scried on Friendly again. She found herself in the underworld. Hades sat on his throne while Friendly stood in front of him, admitting that he had not found any information leading to their whereabouts. Hades instead had a new mission for him, walking forward and whispering to the half-elf before Friendly nodded and walked off. As Rose's scrying orb went to follow, it stopped and turned. She was now staring into the face of the grinning Hades, who told her that Friendly was now his before destroying the orb. This sent Rose into a panic, and she quickly messaged Friendly. Unfortunately, the voice she heard in return was Hades, who called her foolish and assured her that they would see Friendly again very soon. The next morning brought some fear as Raya lost her memories to the island, but Calamity was able to return them with magic. They then decided it would be best to try and find the Lost Boys. After some hiking through the woods, they eventually found a large tree, opening a secret hatch to find many young boys playing inside. A few confronted them, but were quickly persuaded by the treasure they found and the magic they could do. Peter returned and congratulated them on finding his hideout, naming them official Lost Boys and Girls before everyone turned in for the night. Watch went quietly, with Calamity taking the last shift. She walked around the hideout, and as the sun rose, her memories vanished. Peter flew down and announced that they would be going on a field trip to see fairies. The boys cheered before scrambling to get out of the hideout. Peter and Calamity led the way flying, while the rest of the party ran to keep up with them. Once they were pretty far ahead, Peter told Calamity he wanted to show her a secret, leading her toward the mountain. Peter led her into a cave with a large golden tree bearing beautiful red apples. He tried to get Calamity to eat the fruit, but was interrupted by Raya's voice echoing down the pathway. They quickly hid in the tree as the others entered the cavern. Peter got too nervous about the situation and used a poison dagger to stab Calamity, just missing her heart. She fell from the tree and he went flying through a hole in the ceiling. Raya caught her, but Calamity was afraid, not knowing who they were. Raya managed to remove the dagger, getting burned in the process. Calamity was healed, and with the help of the Raven King, got her memories back. They managed to make it out of the cave through the same escape Peter did, with some help from Hook, who then led them to a labyrinth entrance. They stepped out into a large room with an open ceiling. There was no sun here. Instead, above them seemed like the night sky, but it was somehow different. Without wasting any time, the battle began. It became tense quickly. Tinkerbell was assisting Peter, healing him multiple times throughout the battle, while Peter and his shadow attacked the group. He used his magic to mind control Raya, who began to attack Rose until she fell. Calamity fell as well, and Peter began to take her toward the altar, only to be stopped by Cordelia, who managed to knock him unconscious. However, he rose again, lashing out at Cordelia and the others, but they would not be stopped. It was then that Chernabog came to assist his warlock. With his shadows, he knocked half the party unconscious. In desperation, after his contract had been destroyed by Cordelia, Peter lashed out at the fallen Calamity, striking her unmoving body. She was almost gone, but with the help of Rose's magic, she managed to hang on. Raya struck the final blow, and Peter dissolved into dust, leaving nothing but a black crystal behind. The party quickly revived Calamity before leaving the altar to find the Lost Boys. The boys were still with the fairies, many of them unconscious on the ground as the power Peter held over the island faded. They began to wake, a bit of their memories returning. The fairies thanked them for their help to defeat Peter and offered a safe place to rest for the evening. Hook thanked them as well, promising he would acquire a ship for them to travel home with by morning. The party woke and led the boys to the beach, where Hook was waiting with his crew and a large, beautiful ship of black wood and gold accents. Calamity was named captain, naming her vessel the Horny Maiden. They set off, finally making it back to shore, where Captain Hops was amazed at their success.
Happy endings.
That battle was so stressful, and if not for Rose,
Such a rough
if not
night.
for Natalie going, "I have a portent," and giving her the portent, ooh, would have
It was
lost Cal.
Cal's last death save. She had lost 2 after Pan hit her, and I had a portent because Divination Wizard had a portent that was like it was a 10 or higher. I don't remember what it was, but it was enough to succeed on a death save. And
We're like, thank God. It was
Okay,
very,
here's
very
what
stressful.
happened. Because Peter had to attack, so he went to attack, and I said, or he had multiple attacks, and he went to attack, and Raya had does Raya have Sentinel? I think Raya had Sentinel.
She had something with Guardians.
Guardian. And so I was weird because Calamity was unconscious, so I let that negate 1 hit. I let something Cordelia had negate another hit, but he had 1 more hit and he hit her, so that was -2. So then everyone's like putting on war paint, like actually, like we pulled out like body paint, putting on war paint. Abby's drawing
Raya's
on her face, and I go, "Okay, Maria, I need you to roll a death saving throw." And she rolls. No one else is paying attention, and she just
didn't realize it was
I was paying attention.
I was just sitting here like this, and everyone else was talking.
No.
I went, "Guys, I think Calamity just failed her last death saving throw." Everyone stopped.
Said,
Abby,
no.
Like, cousin Away was like.
And then you were merciful and allowed me to kind of fudge how portents are supposed to go.
Until the next day, because I was like, "Oh, I wonder how portents are supposed to go." And I looked it up the next day, and you're supposed to use it beforehand. And we were like,
"It's fine. We're not going to worry about it.
Future, it's fine."
We saved Calamity. That's all that matters.
What's so like
no. No.
Yeah, it was extra bad because like Cordelia went into retirement after basically a TPK where she's the only one who made it out. And this is her first big fight back, and she's like, great. She's watching her teacher just like about die, and it's like,
And this is like, and before this, there were only like a few times before this fight that Calamity had ever even gone unconscious. Like
right when
it won't be this close. It was only
it was at the beginning of this arc, because she had never gone unconscious until the troll fight when she got
just like an on the road traveling fight that we had. Like that was the first time
she went to the Addams family house.
We did.
And then saw
still had
Giselle.
Giselle, you rescued Giselle from trolls, and that's where she went unconscious for the first time.
Yeah. It was stressful.
We have good times, we swear.
My favorite part was when they found the treasure. They found this staff, this blood magic staff, where you could give yourself harm, replace the spell slot, and Rose basically just went, "You don't get this, Calamity. No, you're not allowed to have this."
Is that also where I got my dwarf
No.
belt?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then she woke up one morning with a full beard.
I think Leah shaved her beard off.
With the
Oh
belt.
yeah, she shaved it off. She said, "Get it off, get it off, get it off."
Yeah.
It was funny. Oh, that's good.
It was just like, okay, roll, and you had to roll a below a 50 or something. You rolled it twice, and it was like, well, you
got a beard.
In.
It's fine. It's fine.
So funny.
But when Raya woke up the morning and did not remember everyone, that was stressful. Because she just looked around and was like,
Right
what am
after
I doing here? All right, time to go. Let's go. No. And they were like, Raya, wait.
Right after the scrying shit with Hades.
Yep.
It was very brave of you to scry for a second time inside a god's lair.
It's fine.
I didn't know he was gonna be inside the god's lair at the time.
That's true.
She had scryed on him twice beforehand, and only one of those times he had been actually in Hades' lair. The other time he was off doing some other bad shit for.
He was torturing a poor man for
He was
information.
busy doing hot girl shit. It's fine.
Couldn't talk. He was doing hot girl shit. But yeah, no, like I there was no way for me to know that that's where he was gonna be. Like, just happened to be the case.
And the messaging immediately after, I was like, I mean,
I didn't know the messages weren't going through to him. I didn't know.
I just immediately
straight to voicemail,
like destroying your
straight
scry
to
thing.
voicemail. Every time.
Of course, she immediately tried to. Like that was like, it was like some like. I said in the chat, like I found it, and like the message was basically to the effect of like saying like basically like just to the effect of like reassurances of like, this isn't you. I know that this isn't you, like that kind of shit.
And Hades just goes, "Oh, but he's mine."
Yeah. What did I say? I said it's like saying that it's her, that she's been keeping an eye, that he's not cruel, not really. Whatever Hades says, you're not his. We still care. I still care.
You fool.
It's fine.
Yeah.
He's not the big bad, but he's everyone's big bad.
Yes, he is. Well, one of mine.
I mean, no, he's gotten on everyone's bad side.
Yep.
Yes.
He literally has gotten on everyone's bad side.
I'm
Calamity is more concerned with
of course. I mean,
I'm just
crazy.
terrified if I ever meet him again.
Yeah, don't want that reprise. No, thank you.
Like, oh dear. It's fine. Don't worry about it. We're not gonna worry about it.
It's fine.
Very end, Calamity was given a ship because Calamity was the only one with sailing experience.
Mm-hmm.
And it was very, very proper that she named her.
The horny
I think
maiden.
she named it a horny maiden because the hat wouldn't fit over her horns. Like that's where the horns part got stuck in her head.
Maybe. Didn't she give the hat to one of the kids?
Yeah,
we got back.
After you got back because it wouldn't fit over her horn, she was like, I can't wear this.
Because Captain Hook gave her his hat, his captain's hat.
Yes, he gave her a captain's hat and the ship. And you guys have a ship?
It was so good.
That's still sailing around. You chartered it out, and it's still sailing around.
So we still.
Oh my god, we've got so much money.
You gotta get it.
I can buy
Rosie's paper money.
Rose does need paper money.
Do I need money for
I'll scroll money?
Please.
She has to get that scroll for her mom.
Okay.
Her poor mom.
Get there.
Yes, you want to get it. I'm like that's.
Will I find that?
No,
Will I?
No.
Yes, you do.
Yes,
it's fine.
Okay, shall we?
I think so.
We're actually going to take a quick break. So we will be back in like 15 minutes. So 8:40.
All right.
I did my math right. So we'll see you back then.
All right.
Hello, we are back. We do the thing.
Hello.
Hello, everyone. We are
Okay.
back.
Hello.
So now we go into the downward slope. Thank you. Of things. It's gonna be great. Don't worry about it. Yeah, it's
Great.
it's fine. I'm
I'm
actually just gonna drink my.
Inspiration from Matthew Mercer.
I'm
when
just gonna
I
take a drink
shouldn't watch
from
Critical
my
Role while I do this.
my definitely regular drink. Mm-hmm.
I block these things out of my head, and then I remember what everybody's like getting upset about. I'm like, oh yes, we did live through that vicariously.
Yeah.
I was watching
Hey!
Campaign 1, and I messaged Natalie and Abby, and I went, I'm not allowed to listen to Matt Mercer anymore. He's giving me ideas. That's the problem.
You're still getting ideas. Like,
I mean,
they're not happy ones.
Nope.
I mean, some of them aren't happy ones. I have many happy things planned. Don't worry.
We just gotta get there.
Why don't you ever clue us in on the happy parts then?
Right?
Yeah.
All right.
They're more fun.
Yeah, for real.
3116.
A voice from beyond shouts the numbers.
What? All right. Here we go.
They all took a well-deserved break for the evening. However, the party woke up the next morning to find that they were one member short. All that was left of Kane was a note about finding his father and a few of the magic items they had found while on the road together. It was a bittersweet moment with many questions and very few answers. They decided to take the boat to Atlantica before heading to the obelisk in the Dead Forest. Heading off to the dockmaster, they managed to hire a small crew to get them down to Atlantica. During the trip, Rose received a message from a woman named Thea. She informed them that Fairy had a new job for them and requested they return if they wanted, at their earliest convenience. She also received a message from Winnie, informing her that she was no longer in Atlantica, but in Aldsea, Maldonia, instead, with Ryder. They had come up with a plan that might get Friendly back, and were hoping the party could get to Aldsea by Mardi Gras. After arriving at Atlantica, the group hired a crew to run their ship for trade in order to make a little extra money before using the teleportation circle in the Temple of Mistral. Winnie and Ryder greeted them in Aldsea, explaining the plan to rescue Friendly. Ryder would offer himself up as bait, since Friendly seemed to be looking for him. They would lure him in a trap in order for someone to cleanse his soul. Then Friendly would tell them where the entrance to the underworld was, so that they could seal it off before they were ready to fight Hades. However, they wanted to use Mardi Gras as one final night to enjoy themselves and let loose before diving headfirst into danger once again. On the night of Mardi Gras, everyone was ready to have fun. Cordelia and Raya spent the evening eating treats, while Cordelia talked about her old home as a star. Winnie and Ryder danced and enjoyed the decorations until they ran into Brio, Winnie's ex-boyfriend. He explained that he had never actually wanted to date Winnie, instead only using her to make gold from a bet his friends made with him. In response, Ryder asked the man to play at their wedding, as they had gotten secretly engaged the week before. Brio laughed at them before Ryder scared him off. Calamity was enjoying her time with Rose until the Raven King appeared in his mortal form, explaining that he wanted to make her birthday special. But being immortal was very draining for deities, so he finished his dance with her and passed her off to Hansel. As he went to leave, a rune flared up around him, and he disappeared. Calamity did not realize something was wrong until Hubert fell to the ground, only a statue, the magic gone from him. Calamity let out a loud, wailing screech. As she did so, her fangs grew longer, and her nails became more claw-like. Her horns curved into more of a point, and the faint smell of brimstone filled the air around her. Her friends rushed to her side, starting to search the area for clues. They managed to find a hint of necrotic essence in the air that seemed familiar, but no one could place it, so they began to look for Rose. But Rose was nowhere to be seen. Rose had stepped to the edge of the crowd when Calamity began to dance with the Raven King, hoping to get a little breathing space. She watched the crowd, keeping an eye out for her party. That's when her gaze locked with a familiar pair of yellow eyes. She and Friendly stared at each other for a moment, before he turned and walked down an alleyway. Rose stood frozen to the spot, trying to figure out if what she had seen was an illusion. She quickly followed after him. stepping into a trap that made her freeze in place. Friendly smiled and walked forward before shoving a rag over her face, making her pass out. Rose woke up chained to a chair with her mouth gagged. Friendly was sitting on the table in front of her, polishing a sword she had never seen before. They sat in silence until the door opened, and Franz walked around from behind her with Dr. Facilier. Franz impatiently demanded that the process be expedited, and the frustration was clear on the doctor's face. He raised his hands and began to cast. As he did, Rose felt her intelligence drain from her mind. While she was reeling from the first spell, he cast one more, changing her memory over the past year to make her believe that her party had actually kidnapped her. Whatever made her so unintelligent, they had done that to her. Franz had been searching high and low for her, and he had finally found her and rescued her. As the spell was being cast, Franz was undoing her chains. He helped her up after it finished and held her close before starting to lead her toward his carriage. Friendly and Dr. Facilier stayed behind, and after they left, Friendly gave the doctor a strange pendant, saying that Hades was appreciative of his work. The party started to panic, and Calamity sent Rose a message, but got no response, even though it was delivered. After a bit of questioning, they found some clues. With a combination of Ryder and Hansel's skills, they just managed to catch the direction the carriage was going in. They gathered horses and raced after them. It took a few days, but they finally caught up with them in Peatsland and Kyra in a tavern. They located the correct room, and Calamity cleared Rose's mind from the magic. In her rage, Rose incinerated Franz, leaving nothing but a pile of ash. They escaped the town, and after a bit of travel, Ryder received a message from the High Priest of the Raven King. Cult of Hades found in Leafside, protecting Guardian of Underworld, Korthalok the Infectious. Friendly seen entering an abandoned building. Use caution if following this lead.
The best part is Winnie calling one of the guards in this country that doesn't allow arcane magic just against Faze and getting arrested.
It was.
I don't know what you're talking
Anyone
about.
got arrested in the campaign, and it was our Winnie.
Well, she had her wings out, and she's like, well, what, are you just racist against Fae folk? And that's not the thing to say to the captain of the guard. And then you get thrown in jail and use your ex-boyfriend's name in the ledger when they're like, who are you and why are we throwing you in here? And then you pay like way too many platinums, and then you get set free.
It was truly iconic. I must say, I was very impressed.
Well, you know,
a job is still open down in Atlantis if you want it. So if you want the job
maybe
in Atlantis,
someday.
join.
The fun part about Mardi Gras is we finished our session and we stopped right before Mardi Gras. And then everyone was wide awake, and went, let's keep going. And it was like,
because at that point we were just like, we just want to do this. We just want to do this, so we know.
Want to get through it, yeah.
Oh, that was fun.
Oh my god.
Yeah, everyone was awake, so we were just like, let's go.
That was such a night.
That was a night with a capital N.
Look up dresses for everyone.
Oh yeah. Raya. Okay, so
there was the fashion interlude.
She has awful fashion sense. If you've ever seen Firefly, she got a dress when they were back before Peter Pan. She got a dress that was very similar to Kaylee's from Firefly, full of ruffles, super gaudy. She thought it was the prettiest thing on the face of the planet. So she's walking around in Merovingian thinking she's hot shit. And everyone else is just like, you make a comment, we fuck you up. You make a comment, we fuck you up.
Yep.
And
yes,
it was great because Raya's just like, look at me in my pretty dress, I love it. And then Mardi Gras happened, and they said, we're gonna let Fairy pick your dress.
No, Fairy wasn't there. That was
like the group is gonna help.
The group was gonna help.
Gonna help.
Yes, your her big tall girlfriend decided to make you a suit that matched her dress,
and it was beautiful. I still require that because
two of them had the happiest Mardi Gras out of everybody.
We had so
they
much
really did.
I got to try.
It was so wholesome.
For the first time,
they looked at stars in a sheet.
Oh, that was so.
We went to like
okay,
a carnival planetarium. It was so cute.
so cute.
They're so wholesome. They're so wholesome.
Raya is not used to seeing a sky. She's used to seeing, stone over top of her head. Very Dragon Age-esque. Sorry, that bleeds into everything. I do that, and yes, it's fine.
Fine.
But she went into this planetarium, and Leah is telling her all about her time as a star and like just being up there, and goes and points it out, and then Raya, for the first time in her life, prays to Nova for a wish that she gets to stay with Leah for a little bit longer, and it was really cute.
Yeah.
They had the best Mardi
And then
Gras
she
out of
kissed her.
everybody. And then they kissed.
Yeah.
We were very, very
they're so
excited
good.
about that. They're so good.
Everything was so depressing that we're like, can we have the most wholesome ship?
And you did, and
to
it
like
was so
ride through
good.
these
It was
deep, dark
exactly what we all
times.
needed. Oh my god.
It was so good.
Yeah, they're
It's so good. I love them. I love Raya. I love her a lot. I have a tit.
she's a
It's
bundle
fine.
of joy.
It's a gift, is what she is.
And, one other note. Mardi Gras was the same day as Calamity's birthday.
Oh yeah.
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 Literally the worst birthday she could have
Yeah.
ever had. Cal's been through so much. It was just like
So much.
we wanted her to have a break, and like there was that semblance of it where Galleon like assumed a human form and was like, "I'm
Like,
here for you, and I care about you." And then no, we couldn't have that.
Nope.
As a note, in my universe, dragons, deities can turn into human forms, but it's very draining on them, which is why they don't do it all the time. Which explains why they don't walk around as deities, as humans constantly. So he was saving up his strength so he could dance with her on her birthday.
And it's super, super cute. And then I had to go fuck it up.
In case you didn't know, I'm very passionate about every single ship in this campaign.
Yes.
And then, because of course,
hold on, wait. We totally just glanced over the fact that Ryder and Fiddle are engaged.
That is
they
true.
Got engaged.
Oh,
they got engaged.
Oh yeah. Yes, Fiddle asked him with a ring that she made herself, more or less.
Yeah.
Which, yes.
Yeah, it's
Fiddle
pretty,
and Ryder got engaged.
Pretty cute.
Fiddle and Ryder.
It was mentioned
They
very,
told
very briefly.
no one.
No one.
No.
Told nobody.
And when
Well, I mean,
they found out.
No, you didn't tell any of us.
She was gonna. No, okay, she was going to, but it was just like the wait. She was reading the room. The time wasn't right.
Yeah, fair.
And then Rose was just like, "What's that?
What's that?
So what you got on your hand there, girl? Huh? We gonna talk about that? Please? Thanks.
Basically, my sister. What's that?
I honest to goodness don't know what Winnie's ring looks like, but I very specifically know the one that Ryder's looks like. She made it. She basically used her magic paints to make a ring and then went to a blacksmith. She's hoping Friendly would make it, but
he's a little indisposed at the moment.
He was a little busy.
He's making up for it. He's making things for their wedding.
Yeah.
He does have experience with making rings, though.
Yeah. So her paints can only make something that's worth like 25 gold, and she's like, no, we gotta go all out. So she goes and has them made out of real metal. But Ryder's ring are two rings that like intersect in an X and cross over his finger. And it's a raven wing and Winnie's sword.
I didn't know that. I love that so much.
Yeah. Winnie's sword is like rosy gold color, and then the feather is like a blackened silver.
They're so adorable. I love it. So
Winnie she's now a paladin. She has a shield that turns into wings.
It's great. I love it.
And she has a rapier called the rainbow rapier, and she waves it, and basically like rainbows come off of it as she waves it.
It's like a bubble wand, but it can be murderous.
And 5 times a day she can change the color of something for an hour. So she can like hit herself and change her hair.
Or turn Brio's hair hot pink.
Yeah.
After he was throat punched and covered in glitter.
Another the second, like, so like the best moment for Mardi Gras would be Raya and Leah, and after that would be like just
beating the shit out of Brio.
Brio's ass.
Boring. I'm sorry. His name is actually Boring, which Friendly gave
for real.
when he and Win had their date.
Win very much knew that like Ryder wanted to beat this individual into a pulp, if not drain them of all life. But she's like, but no, she's just like, we're taking the high road. Mostly. It's just like, he's not worth the energy. Like, at this point,
ask him to play at your wedding.
Oh yeah, the savagery of that thought.
I loved that.
You know,
it was just.
I impress myself sometimes, and I'm just like, that was good. You did good, kid.
Great.
In response to chat, we did have another dagger that was equally as gay that I don't think we ever mentioned. It's the unicorn dagger. You stab somebody,
yes, I had
and
that
they
on
get
me at the time.
covered in glitter, and it is
It's a glitter. It's something it's a glitter curse and a dagger.
It's something that I think Scotty would really be a fan of. Just throwing that out there.
It doesn't just cover you in glitter. You stab a companion. You stab someone who is your friend, and it covers them in glitter, but also gives them a random blessing of a D8.
It was really fun. I turned invisible.
Yeah.
No, that's because I ate the pips. I ate the pips thing.
Yeah.
That's what turned me invisible.
Right. Oh my god, remember when we ate that candy and we turned into skeletons? Yeah.
That was right before the Peter Pan. They ate this candy that they found in Peter Pan's labyrinth, and it turned everything but their skeleton invisible. And Raya was like, "What's happening?"
It was great.
I think I had a whole 15 minutes of laughing at Bojangles in my head. So,
what I really want though is just a mental image of the whole party like eating those like invisibility pets, and then just it's a party of skeletons, and then like a skeleton dance number. That's all I want.
Yes. Like Shrek the musical. What?
Can you just imagine somebody's like, I drew the party. It's all skeletons.
Please, can we actually get that? I need that. I like actually require that. Everybody is skeletons. Oh my god.
Another great part is Rose literally incinerating Franz. Just Firebolt.
Yeah,
it was Firebolt, right? It was a high level Firebolt.
No. I used my first I used my highest level spell that I had at the time, which was a 6th level Chain Lightning.
Yeah,
that's what it was.
That's the first one, and I only had one 6th level spell slot, and then after I did that, like he tried to he tried to threaten me.
Ooh,
it's an ass.
He tried to say some shit about how like if I killed him, then like his family would never stop coming after me or whatever. And I was like, well, your brother wasn't that intimidating, so fuck you. And then that was a 5th level Scorching Ray.
Yeah,
5th level Scorching
Ray. But yeah, no, incinerated him. Lovely little pile of ash.
Yeah.
So remember, there's multiple ways to deal with unsavory exes, and we cannot condone a single one of them.
I can condone Roses after what he did.
Yeah.
No.
I meant in real life.
Oh, not in okay. Not in real life. No.
Yeah, don't ever incinerate somebody in real life.
D&D, you go on with your bad self.
Do it.
For legal purposes, we must say this is
absolutely
a joke.
No one saw what happened.
The room where it happened.
Yeah. But yeah, for rings, I have a prop for mine because I have no chill.
Yeah.
No chill.
It's here somewhere. Where is it?
Do you have the half-made one?
I'd be lying if I said I haven't been persistently searching for similar rings.
Yes. Well,
we're sappy. We're sappy.
When Friendly does come back.
Similar enough.
Yeah. It's good. And that's the
she wore it on the chain with her arcane focus. Oh, that's the wrong one.
He made.
Oh no.
He made her the rose was a holder for her arcane focus. So it like could close and be just a bud, and then it would open and it'd be a blossoming flower with her arcane focus in the middle of it. Because he's a sap.
Because
they got stolen once. Or fell
Flynn
off.
Rider accidentally ran into Rose, and it fell off because it had been damaged. They were like, he stole it! And I went, Friendly, roll a perception check. And he looks down, it's just at his feet, and they're all like, where did this thief go? Where did he go?
Well, that's because it was Flynn Rider. So immediately we're like, well, he's a thief, so he absolutely stole it. And then I was just like,
well, because the guy had like he was like flirting with Rose, and it seemed to her at the time like a kind of like a, oh, he's trying to distract me, and then he bumped into me, and now all of a sudden my arcane focus is gone. Okay, he probably stole it.
Yeah,
like he probably was trying to distract me to pickpocket me. Like that's probably what happened. Like
yeah.
One of my favorite things was Sarah goes, "Don't make me compete with Flynn Rider."
First off, I'm
no contest.
What a mood.
Oh, well, thank you. Strong. I love Tangled the series. I have issues with it, but like it has made Flynn so amazing to me, and I just love him so much. And I was like, Friendly cannot compare to Flynn Rider. He's too flawed, and Flynn Rider overcomes all of his flaws, and it's great.
So will Friendly.
Yeah, eventually. Yeah. See, thank you, Purple. Yes, Flynn will win every time. Yes, and then Kristoff is that like it's like Flynn. Kristoff's like right there.
Bias.
He is also solid. Yeah, just a little bit. But yeah. But this is my prop ring. You want to see it? It's really pretty. It's not a surprise. Natalie's seen it. Like
Sarah is now proposing to all of you.
Everybody.
Congratulations.
Will you watch our stream? But yeah, so the whole thing is really pretty, and
because I don't know if we mentioned it, but in the Atlantis
that's what I wanted to bring up.
Calamity asked because Kita offered like asked like if there's anything that she could do for us, like to repay us, and she gave Rose the Atlantean crystal to use as an arcane focus, and Calamity also asked for a small piece of Atlantean crystal.
Because when he and Calamity were having their sparring match prior to him bamfing out, he gave her the unfinished metal band and said, I really hope that on the Atlantis trip I can find a stone to set in it, regardless of what it is, just something from Atlantis, because it's been her dream since she was little to find it, and now we're going to search for it. So, yeah. And he told that to Calamity, and then Calamity gives it to Rose. It's fine. But yeah, so eventually he's gonna get it cut. He gets he has it made now, but he gets the thing cut. I don't think it's gonna be square cut, but it's really pretty. It's topaz, and then it's got little cute, little big diamonds on the side. Because I have no chill, and I like feeling pretty.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, sometimes.
It's all justified. Right. It's for a character. It's fine.
Purple, that's okay. Can I at least be friends with your snake? That's all that really matters in this, is that I can be friends with your snake. Friends. I love him very much. Yes! Okay. All is good. We're good. This is fine. All right. Shall we get on to our next section? Yes.
Yep, let's do it.
Wow.
Let's do it.
That was a tangent and a half.
It honestly worth it.
Was, but that's okay.
It's worth it. All right, here we go. I know what I'm doing, I swear.
They decided now would be the best time to strike, and headed to the abandoned town of Leafside, which took them through a multi-layered dungeon. Inside one of the floors, they met the leader of the Hades cult, who fought them alongside Friendly. Although Friendly escaped, he first took Rose's necklace that held the ring he made and her arcane focus. Luckily, she had the crystal from Atlantis to replace it. That evening, Saloon reached out to Rose, encouraging her not to give up on Friendly. However, warning her that Friendly was currently soulless, and that if he died without a soul, he would not come back. She then explained that a group called the Deities of Fury were planning something big. Those deities were Auril, goddess of winter, who they met when they fought Elsa, Talos, the leader of the god of storms, Malar, the lesser deity of the hunt and evil lycanthropes, and Umberly, goddess of the sea. They were trying to recruit other evil deities, and seemed to be trying to do something with Saloon's evil twin, Shar, goddess of darkness, who was banished a long time ago. They made it to the final level of the dungeon to find a black dragon whose brain had been infected with a parasite by mind flayers. They managed to defeat it and entered the rift into the underworld. As they made their way through the skull-shaped building, Winnie and Calamity were met with memories of their past lives, painfully forced back into their minds. Calamity saw visions of her life and afterlife as Asha, while Winnie saw visions of a beautiful pale elven woman and her time in the underworld. In one room, they found a large battle map with the continent of Yensid. There were small figurines of their party, many deities, as well as the royals of each country paired with dark figures, though some of the dark figures were missing. They managed to find a switch under the table, revealing a staircase that led to a vortex of tormented souls. Cordelia could hear the calls of her late wife, who had been murdered by followers of Hades, while Ryder noticed a few followers of the Raven King. Calamity and Winnie were overwhelmed with the memories of their time spent in the swirling green void before them. It was Calamity who spotted Friendly's soul first, and as she dove in, Winnie followed soon after. It was precarious, but they managed to escape with his soul, which turned into a gem. They recovered the Raven King, who was also trapped in a gem, before heading toward the main chamber to face Hades. With the help of Nova, Mistral, and Saloon, the party escaped the underworld with Friendly, teleporting to the obelisk's clearing. The fighter was quickly knocked unconscious before his soul was returned. However, they were not able to break the Raven King from his gem. They laid down to rest, many of them receiving dreams that night. Nova visited Winnie and Cordelia separately, congratulating each of them. She also comforted Cordelia, encouraging her to move on, that her late wife would be happy for her. Raya was visited by the kings of the past who commended her on her bravery and told her that it was time to come home. Rose was surprised to be visited by Mistral, who admitted that she did not visit mortals often. She waved off Rose's surprise at catching a goddess's interest and explained that all of the party had caught the deity's interests a long time ago. Friendly was also visited by Saloon, who encouraged Friendly to allow his friends to help him to recover before making any decisions about deities.
Hello?
The next
I did not put nearly enough a long break between that one. That's fine. Hello.
That was one of my favorite parts.
Oh,
When I got to
there's
call
so
you
much
out
in there. Oh my god.
Yeah, I got
Call
called.
you out at Saloon to
I
process.
got just
He
destroyed.
goes up in the
by
dream,
Saloon.
and Saloon was standing there, and he's like, "Who are you?" And she just pulls up a sword and goes, "Hello." He's like, "Oh,
Yeah, it was great. But
So a few things.
well, I was gonna say one of the things that's not mentioned in it is like the battle between them and Friendly when they first find him in Hades' throne room. There's two knights in black armor when they come in, and Raya, being the guard captain barbarian that she is like, okay, well, I will go up, I will start this, and then we can figure out what happens. So she goes up and she attacks one of them, knocks off his helmet, and it is Friendly, but it is Friendly half decayed. Like, his body has been rotting slowly without his soul. So this is before, like, I got to take back over him. I'm just like, oh no, my boy. What has happened to my boy?
Stop.
And then it turns out it was the other one was actual Friendly, and he comes over and he rips off his helmet and he's like, oh hi, let's fight. And then we were like, you a little bitch.
But before that,
first his soul before that.
Oh,
before that,
King Rose unconscious.
The first time they encounter Friendly, when they're in like getting down into the underworld, when he, with the whole like stealing Rose's arcane focus, what happened there was,
okay, I'm sorry. I didn't know.
What happened there was that Friendly was ordered to take out, like, to focus his attention for to worry about taking out
the spellcasters because they do a lot of damage. get rid of them and then focus on everybody else. So that's what he did.
And so he gets to Rose, and this motherfucker, first of all, he's got Mage Slayer. Like, thanks, hon. Thanks, dear.
You're welcome. And the best part about taking Mage Slayer is he took it after leaving. So he took it with the intent of using it against his party, not to benefit his party. Yeah, so if you don't know Mage Slayer, spell is casted. Casted? That's a word. If a spell is cast, within 5 feet of you, you can melee attack.
That does hurt.
Yeah.
And it hurt so much that when he got over to he was we were like melee range with Rose to like he had like and at this he literally he grabs her by the chin, does the chin the tilt up, and like rips the arcane focus that he made her neck. And this is the chain that's also got the ring that he made on it. Pulls that from her neck, knocks her unconscious, and then he drops this magic item that lets him teleport out of there, and this magic item explodes.
I didn't know it exploded.
And so I know it exploded.
Look, Friendly was given 2 orders. Kill the casters and get out of there if your health gets too low. Well, everybody was just like, we have to make him unconscious so we can drag his sorry ass out of here. So they're all targeting him, so his health goes down right quick. So it's like the 3rd round of combat, and he's like, well, I guess I'm gonna leave. Have fun fighting a dragon. But he goes over and he absolutely attacks Rose, takes her arcane focus as she's falling unconscious, laughs in her face, and then drops the... Oh, do you have what he said?
I didn't write down.
I don't remember what I said. But then he drops this
I don't have it
thing that all he's told about it is it will bring you back to safety. It explodes in blue fire. So Rose fails 2 death saving throws because this bitch is trying to escape. So don't worry though. I had Raya run over and give her a health potion. It's fine.
Oh, I used a portent to succeed on that death save.
Okay. Yeah.
I wrote it down.
Okay.
Note for the chat: the stealing the necklace was not my idea. That was not me telling Sarah to do that.
Oh, Sarah. Look, I'm just gonna come forward and say it. I'm not sorry we lost your horse.
Yes. Oh yes. So they have a horse named Majesty that Friendly got in the very first session, and they rode them to this abandoned town full of thieves, then appeared elsewhere, and were like, shit, the horses.
I mean,
like, you really think they're still there? You really think they're still there?
Friendly wanted one thing coming
However,
back. He wanted one
very
thing.
beginning of the first battle with Friendly, Calamity is up first. Calamity's first move is to run over to Friendly, grab his arm, and cast Greater Restoration, which is a spell she knows she needs to use to save him. There's nothing to restore. That's how they found out he was soulless.
Yeah.
Which was the biggest fucking relief. Honestly, in character, at least as Rose, that was the biggest relief. Finding out that he was soulless the entire time with with all that shit that he had done. That it wasn't him. Okay,
after he powered up the sword.
Yeah,
but as soon as he powered up the sword, his soul was gone. It wasn't him, and at least the biggest for Rose, at least the whole the luring her into that trap and the almost killing her, that wasn't him.
Which is why Sarah never got to control him until it was time for a fight, and I was like, I don't know how to fight your character. You do it.
And I did. And it was fun.
However, great moment. Rose counterspelling. Actual god.
Yes.
So in a fight against Hades, there were a couple moments where where the different goddesses and that were watching over us intervened. I wrote down a few of them. Mistral kill, that was directed at me, and then Nova saved us at one point, and Saloon did also. Saloon stopped a sword burst from Friendly.
Yeah,
rude.
when all the others were surrounding him.
Counter spells that they did. They did a bunch of
I think
counter
power word kill got stopped by one of the goddesses.
Oh yes,
I would say that
Mr. stopped that against me, and then we were about to escape out of there. Like Mr. Earl had like spoke to Rose and said like get everybody to this part of the room, and I was like okay. So I told everybody to get there.
And
so stressful.
over there.
And so like we were getting everybody over there. We were almost there. Friendly, but like, we were luring him over there. I was taunting him like, okay, come on.
Mhm.
Let's go, fight me.
Like you want to fight me, babe? Come on. And like, and they're almost there.
Was also
they're
in there
so
taunting
fucking
him.
close.
Yeah.
And yeah. We were.
Because I was like,
And
I'm pretty sure it was Winnie and Rose who were both like, "Come on."
We were in
let's
a
go."
friendly sandwich of like, you come after me, and I'm like, you better scoot your boot.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah. But so the friendly was almost there, like with the rest of us to get us out. And Hades pulls like basically says like, okay, fine, if I can't have him, no one can. And he tries to finger of death.
That's what it was.
Like, and I had a portent left that was high enough. My spellcasting modifier with my modifier that I would add to it for a counter spell, it would automatically succeed because it would put me over 20. And so I was like, no, fuck that. And I counterspelled God, and it was amazing.
Yes. Because none of you were attacking because Fiddle tried to do it once and got a 24, and I was like, that doesn't hit. And they were like, what?
Yeah.
And we
Oh
were
my
like,
God.
we're gonna run. Dude, thanks.
Oh.
I was just like, my little girl's gonna kick some butt today. No.
Yes, that was it. Because I think you've powered kill counterspelled twice at you because you've pissed off some people twice. They've tried to do it twice.
Yep.
Jafar tried to do it too, and you were like,
that
nah.
happened later.
Yeah, that happens.
Yeah, the Jafar one happens later, but
still, like it's been twice.
But like Ursula tried to like use some shit, and I counterspelled that. Like I've like counterspell has become one of my favorites.
It's so good.
There was anything. There's
that
was the other thing.
Very good with counters, knocking on wood.
Yeah,
they like you. They like you.
Yeah. But the other thing was like when we first saw the two knights. And like we couldn't tell them apart. I tried locate object on the necklace that he had stolen from her, and then Hades was just like, "Yeah, that's funny," and then pulled it out of his pocket.
Yeah.
So now he has that.
So
that's great.
We may or may not be trying to find a way to stop scrying from being a thing. It's fine.
Actively working on it.
Met a fun mage who you'll meet. Who you'll hear about. They met a fun mage helping Rose.
That's right.
Yep. Yeah.
And they called out who it was immediately. I had to do like maybe 3 lines, and this was all written. It was a break, so it was all written. And I wrote maybe 3 lines, and they were like, "Oh, I know who it is."
Yep.
But I will say, that is one of my favorite things is you guys trying to figure out who people are, even when they're not a person. Like,
and failing.
Earlier on, I don't remember if we mentioned this last time. I went to this shop in Lachute, in the port city of Shiphaven, and I start describing this man behind the counter of this magic shop, and they're like, oh, "It's Maurice," and I'm like, "I literally just made him up off the top of my head, but sure, no, it's not."
We'll meet him later.
Hmm.
And then they ran into Gaston there too. That was fun.
And passed by.
And he was
he gave you a look because like he's a terrible
Gaston.
The pig?
Yeah.
He's Gaston, so he looked Rose up and down and was like, "Ooh," and she was like, "Ooh."
It was like, "Oh."
Friendly refused to
want
get
any
off
of that.
Boat. Yeah. Friendly refused to get off the boat. It was great.
Everybody but the humans.
Well, yeah.
Everybody but the humans did not get off the boat.
All right.
The humans only did it because you needed health potions.
Yes, we did.
All right. Next section.
Yeah. I think so.
Let's go.
42.
Morning, Rose used her magic to teleport Raya and Cordelia back to Atlantis before Friendly awoke. It was a tearful, intense reunion when he did, but everyone was happy to have him back. They headed to Agrabah to accept Fairy's mission, but found the hideout in ruins. They found Bartholomew and Thea alive under piles of rubble, but were shocked to find Fairy in her room with a sword through her torso. Luckily, they were able to heal her, and when she awoke, she explained that people had ambushed them looking for the lamp, which they had discovered held a genie. Fairy had sent Aladdin off with the lamp to keep it safe. They relocated everyone to Fairy's house in case of another attack. During the next day, Fairy was bedridden to recover, with Calamity and Bartholomew watching over her while the others tried to find answers. The woman offered to help Calamity free the Raven King with her magic after she had recovered. The others didn't manage to find anything, unfortunately, but soon heard a ruckus outside. A parade was making its way down the street with a prince on the back of an elephant, who they recognized as Aladdin. Under the assumption that he had used the lamp, they began to make a plan to contact him. After Rose sent a message, he assured her that he knew what he was doing and had a powerful friend on his side. It wasn't long before Fairy received a gala invitation from the palace, which she decided to use to their advantage. She chose outfits for everyone, and the party attended as her guests, where they had the chance to talk to Aladdin and Princess Jasmine. They left the festivities rather early, and when Rose checked on Aladdin the next morning, she saw him being taken into the desert. The group immediately went to the rescue, just managing to make it in time. They made it back to Fairy's using Aladdin's second wish, and he immediately took off towards the palace to make sure Jasmine was all right. As they burst into the throne room, they discovered Jafar controlling the Sultan with magic, which they managed to dispel before Jafar escaped. Aladdin was whisked away with Jasmine and the Sultan, while the party returned to the house to plan their next move. That evening, they met Aladdin in the palace garden while he panicked over his new engagement. They worried over the lamp, but he assured them it was safe. During the engagement announcement, Jafar attacked with the stolen lamp, lifting the castle high into the air on a column of rock. The group quickly sprung into action. Things started to grim, but Fairy appeared and managed to turn the tides. Friendly managed to trap Jafar by convincing him to become a genie, while Fairy feeble-minded him. The battle ended as they got a hold of the lamp, planning on taking it to Azan's cave for safekeeping.
Boy.
I need it known that during the engagement party that they got invited to, I did real good at charming Princess Jasmine to giving her the chance to come and talk to not only the party but Aladdin again. So I do want that known. And
you did do a very good job with that, yes.
This is also the episode where we all discovered, not that we didn't know already, that Friendly is a bit of a princess. So he is Princess Abubu.
Princess Abubu.
Yeah.
It's good times.
Yeah.
Hey, wasn't it Rose that got turned into a turtle by Jafar?
Oh,
and was
yeah.
thrown off
So
the
during
side
this
of that
battle,
cliff? Remember that?
we're in the middle of this.
Jafar tried to power word kill,
Yes.
and then got mad that it didn't work. So
he polymorphed
Of course
her
I
into a
counterspelled it.
turtle and yeeted her off the balcony.
threw
Not
her
only
off the
this,
200 foot
not
cliff.
only this, in the middle of the battle, this is also when Natalie finds out she won Cosplayer of the Week from Vox Machina. So not only are we having to deal with her as a turtle falling 200 feet in the air, but we're also like, yay, good job, Natalie, we're so proud of you. But like, you're a turtle.
On her phone, and I went, Natalie, I need you to roll a wisdom saving throw, and she's like, okay.
And then we were like, what happened?
We had to pause.
It was
What
great.
a weird night. What a weird.
What a weird night.
Yes.
Oh,
That was
man.
so fun though. Just
Fairy
us
caught her.
being like, we're so
Oh,
happy. Yeah. And then polymorphed her. And 100%,
Yeah, thank you, Fairy.
I had just been like, well, good thing he doesn't have all the power of Genie, because then we'd be really in trouble. And Bryn was like, do you really say that? And I was like, yeah, he does. And then she's like, roll for persuasion. And I was like, all right. And then it worked, and it was great.
It worked. It was great.
And Rose is very
And
proud.
again,
Rose is very proud of him
I
for
can't
that.
roll for shit sometimes.
Good things.
So Jafar as a genie has a plus 13 to his intelligence saving throws. And I was like, shit, I need like a 17 in order for this, like under that for it to work. I rolled a 2. And it worked. And so I sit here and I'm freaking out because I'm like, how? I had such a low chance. How did that work? Why are you feeble-minded now? So Genie Jafar can't use magic.
It's great.
Yeah.
So
how does it feel?
Bad, probably.
Oh, he wasn't happy.
Yeah, no, not at all. It's
Getting that lamp back to Izan was not a super fun time either.
That's next.
Yeah, oh boy.
Well, we
My
only have
favorite.
one more short section left.
But again, I don't just torture other characters. I torture my own favorite NPCs too. It's fine.
I love yours.
That was terrible. I mean, we're just like, Fairy's crushed, somebody's dead. Bart has clothes on finally, thank God, but he's like not looking so good.
Bart has clothes on.
Oh my god.
I love Bartholomew. Bartholomew.
Hey, you know,
himbo.
at the very least, it wasn't naked and afraid, you know?
Oh,
Yeah,
true.
that's true. That's true.
That is something.
Silver linings.
Oh, I can't look at the Discord on my computer at the moment. Because then our beautiful faces will go away, and we can't have that.
Oh, well.
Hey, you cute. I'll fight you for it.
I wasn't saying it. Thanks.
I'll fight you for it.
I was saying we could disappear for a second.
No.
It'll be fine.
No.
Okay.
I won't let it happen.
Okay.
All right. So last section. Here we go. This is like just the recap.
Right, yeah.
Of course, this one has a long break between it, so you know it's fine.
Of
Just
course.
gonna talk for a minute until it starts.
Oh, yes.
There it is.
Okay.
As they returned to the house, they were informed by their hosts that they were being put on a forced vacation for the next month, and all arguments they attempted were shut down by the courtesan. During this time off, Calamity kept Fairy company until she was strong enough to release the Raven King from his gem. Galleon was helped upstairs, and Calamity stayed by his bedside while he recovered. Winnie, who had started going by her given name Fiddle, and Ryder made a trip to the Cave of Wonders, where Fiddle talked to the dragon about the deal Ryder had made to release him. Unfortunately, it involved allowing Izan to kill Fiddle's father. With more questions than answers, Fiddle decided to head home for a surprise visit. Her family was overjoyed to see her and hurried to finish up dinner. During the meal, Fiddle followed her father to his office, where she confronted him about Izan. He informed Fiddle that the consequences for releasing that monster would be her fault, which she quickly brushed aside. After spending the night at home, she and Ryder returned to Agrabah. Friendly had started going by his real name of Theron. Rose and Theron decided to make the most of their vacation. After having a much-needed heart-to-heart, they enlisted the help of an eccentric mage in Agrabah by trading her an interesting artifact. She teleported them to Ardglass Lachue, Theron's hometown he had massacred for Hades. They burned down his old home with the body of his mother, before burying as many bodies as they could in the village. Afterward, they took a break from the world by going to Atlantis for the remainder of their vacation. One morning, the party was eating breakfast when Hubert flew into the room, and the Raven King was standing in the doorway. They moved to the living room while he lounged at Calamity's insistence. He explained that both he and Hades were born mortals and became gods in the afterlife, while warning that the position Hades had taken over was a corrupt one. No matter who took over, they would be twisted by those powers. During this conversation, the party received a letter requesting a meeting from the King and Queen of Maldonia. They gathered their things, and Fairy prepared to teleport them. Unfortunately, without knowing the location too well, they were thrown off course, landing in a swamp. It added a few days to their travel, but they made it to Aldsea, their first time being back since Mardi Gras. They took the night to recover, deciding to call themselves the last resort before heading to bed. During their meeting, the King and Queen explained their son had been traveling to gain life experience, but had not been heard from in a very long time. They did not have much information, but requested the party look for him while on their journeys. The last time they had heard from him, he was in Dunbrock Loxton, where he had planned to head home but never arrived. Rose sent a message to Merida, who confirmed that Prince Naveen had left 2 months prior. After a bit of discussion, they decided to travel through Valston and confront Rose's parents on their way to Dunbrock. A few days' travel brought them to Rose's hometown. Theron and Calamity were promptly arrested, while Rose and Fiddle walked into the Abbastal Manor. Rose's mother was relieved to see her, while her father insisted she stop gallivanting across the continent. Rose told him off before using magic to escape with Fiddle. Meanwhile, Theron and Calamity both used magic to escape jail, meeting up with the others before they fled to Dunbrock, planning on going towards Lachute to hide.
All right.
Oh, my fun time.
So first off, I just want to say when they did go to see her parents, Friendly decided, or Theron now decided he was going to be a good boy.
Yeah, Theron.
And was not going to act up, and he was going to behave, even though he really, really wanted to punch some people. But all bets are off.
Wouldn't have argued, honestly.
Thing you did way earlier in the campaign didn't allow that because you tried to trick them
for
an image of their daughter.
Gold. 5,000 gold pieces. How could I say no? My boy is literally only about treasure. That's all he cares about.
We'll get to Treasure Planet, darling. Just give it time.
But I want it now.
Fiddle, my dear, would you like to talk about your lovely experience during vacation?
Oh my God. No.
You sure?
I want to fight Fiddle's dad.
Yes, so do I. If she doesn't,
he doesn't need to die, but I want to fight him.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, just some thoughts real quick while they're still in my head. One, I love that we are running away to hide in the one place where most of us are not welcome.
There's a reason for that.
They wouldn't think to look for us.
They wouldn't think to look for us.
Exactly, I know. So that's a fun thing that we're getting back to when we start playing again. Yeah, so Winnie and her father don't have a good relationship, clearly. And there's so many reasons behind that, but like she's literally she started out this adventure like completely in the like it's black and white, and she's like, we're all white, we're all good, happy like vibes. So much gray area, and she's been thrown right into it, and she's working really hard to like justify to herself that it's like her father didn't do this in the first place, we wouldn't be here. And there's also this little fact that like, the fact that Izan is, I don't know, a dragon that needs the sun to live, and when he dies he basically takes the whole plane of existence out with him. I mean, she went there and she's like, look, I'm warning you, like, you have to own up to what you did. Like, I'm giving you the option to put yourself up for this. And
nah, your fault.
Like, you tried to Zone of Truth and it didn't
work.
Yeah,
and she saw a little bit of fear in him, and that's the closest to like another emotion that she's like ever gotten out of him. But
he is a goblin. You are correct.
There's no time left. Nope. When they saw Izan, he's like, he's ready to kick that bucket. It's not good. He looks terrible.
The first time they met him, he did attack them with his plasma breath, which is radiant and fire damage. And the only reason any of them passed is because he's at half strength. His DC was 26 at full health. And no one passed. He's really sickly, so
yeah. And it's just like this whole thing of like Winnie, she really wasn't going to have a direct hand in like any of this happening, because it was sort of Ryder's decision and choice to protect her and her family and what he cares about to do this, and he doesn't feel like what happened to Izan was just to him either. So it was more so Ryder's plan, but Winnie was told, and she's dealing with that, and I'm in such a weird place playing her. It's just like it's very hard because she's such a good person and wants like to try and like find the compromise and make everyone happy, and like this is dipping her toes into maybe the most like evil thing she's ever played a part in. So she's like, am I like just as bad for letting this happen in the background? And what's worse is she might have to have a more active role in bringing her father in. That's the worst part. That's what I'm not looking forward to. because she doesn't want to, and she doesn't have but the word she just doesn't have the time for more answers. She
Yeah.
wants more out of her father. She wants to know, it's like, why did you steal that diamond? Is that diamond enchanted in my mother's wedding ring? Like, what sort of power and hold do
Yes.
you have here? And it's like, we
What
don't have
is
time for
evil?
answers. If the dragon dies, we all die.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the reality of
I
everything.
no, it's not you all die.
Well,
It's they do create a rift,
Oh,
but it doesn't suck up the whole world.
it's gonna be
It
pretty
sucks
bad
up
though.
around it
it's
basically.
gonna be real fucking
Yeah,
bad.
that's not.
Yes,
It's in the
I'm
middle
not
of.
saying the entire world is gonna die,
It's
but
like
I
a
was
bomb in the middle of the desert, and it's just
you know,
like, I mean,
I mean,
she
how
knows
big
how
is
much,
this rift
like,
gonna get? Because like, can we just
we don't
let it?
know.
Because like,
Well,
don't
we
know.
don't know. That's the thing. And
what if it
um,
only takes out the desert and it doesn't take out any? Like, it doesn't take out Agrabah.
we don't know.
Even when I tried with legend lore, like the most I could find out was like the history of like Izon, like before like
Oh,
all of that shit. But
that's what
then
gets me.
like
Rose was the MVP and helping Winnie do research on Izon and all these things. And apparently he was
you.
like, I love you, thank you. Apparently,
Yes, I have on my expositor jacket because Bo is my
yeah.
babe.
So, yeah, Izon apparently like bamfed out of being seen like 100 or so years ago. Winnie's dad is like in his mid 60s.
Yep.
I'm not the best at math, but wait a minute. And Izon's like, I don't have time for mortal garbage. And Winnie's dad's just like, I'm not telling it. And she's just like,
And Harmony goes, "You ruined my life."
It's okay. I just want to throat punch.
I have such
Harmony
a
a bit.
visceral response
I
to
know,
that woman.
but like
I just like,
this is the thing, because everybody in your family went, "Yeah, we know it's not true. You
Yeah.
know, we got this letter."
Yeah. Anyway, I know I rambled and was like not making sense, but that's
No.
where Fiddle is in her head too. She's just like, ha ha.
No, you gave
But
us a.
she
a
also
dip
drew a
into-
lovely, lovely picture.
She did.
That was one of my favorite
Oh
things.
yes.
Painted a
Oh yeah,
lovely
yeah,
picture
yeah.
of a fairy.
There were two lovely paintings made
Yeah.
during the Agrippa. One was taking Friendly on the roof for our second attempt at trying to paint things.
Did we
Where
even
it was
talk about
literally
his first attempt? Because it was bad.
Winnie still has it. It's a pretty crappy landscape.
Oh,
Yeah.
he still has the picture she drew of him, which it was the first
Yeah.
time he cried in front of her when he got it. So
Yeah.
that's still
Aw.
in his.
The second time around was much better though. The two of them made basically like family portraits of everybody that has helped them get to this point, and it was really, really sweet.
Aw.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's one of those things that she has on her. It's gonna come up later, but it's more of a like, she was taking a moment to be grateful because Theron was back and the two of them needed to talk, and
Oh
that
yeah.
seemed like the right subject matter. Yeah, as a thank you gift to Fairy, Fairy loves Agrabah just like so much, and pointed out to her that one of her favorite views off on the roof is facing the palace during the sunset, I believe. So the sky in the center of the painting is Agrabah and the palace during the sunset, but it goes through all periods of the day from dawn to dusk, in like a sort of panoramic, and it's like a really, really pretty thing. But um, Fairy and Ryder have like this really good relationship now, and they respect and care about each other, and
Yes. Yeah.
um,
Yeah. Ryder
just
actually
A
like,
lot of
came.
things
No, go ahead.
yeah,
happen in the background. Is Ryder is actually now a spy for Fairy because he doesn't really like the agency either. So Fairy kind
no,
of recruited him because they have very similar views and very similar goals. But so he now works for Fairy and he spies on the agency basically. And they have very much a brother sister sort of relationship.
Mhm.
So he's very protective of her,
Yeah.
and
Which is good
she's
because he
happy
was,
to help
not
him.
allowed to enter Agrabah when we first came to
Yeah,
Agrabah.
exactly.
Yes.
And it was
For a
only
hot
because
minute,
he worked for
yeah.
the agency. That was the only reason.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
so now,
So for Fiddle, it was like this big thing to be like, hey, you're in my life now. I'm in your life. I respect you and care about you, and this is the very least I could do. And that's a whole nother thing about the whole not knowing the radius of a dragon blast, is like, in a way, that's
Yeah.
kind of a sister to her now.
Yeah.
it's risking
whole-
other
her
family.
livelihood,
Yeah.
and like pretty sure that's like it's now a place that Ryder might want to like end up being if we manage to not die and retire. So it's just like one of those things where it's like there's so much more at stake now than you could ever believe.
Yeah. My favorite thing about our little hiatus month thing, outside of Friendly actually going to Atlantis, was that Ryder came to him. Now Ryder's experience with Friendly is not great. Because he saw Friendly after Calamity left, so he's already pissed. He taunts a fucking rock, like, "Come on, come at me, bitch! Let's fight, let's go!" And they're like, "Please no, please stop."
Darling, stop it.
But Ryder sees how much Friendly Theron. I'm gonna have to remember to use his real name again. Theron means to everybody, so he reaches out and asks for a favor, and together they're working on wedding presents, which are super super cute. So he first off this one's already known. He's helping Ryder create the wedding bands. But then there's like a secret gift that Fiddle's not supposed to know, but may or may not have been giving hints and Googled it. Not that that isn't a problem.
Oh, come on!
You have no right to talk.
That's what I said.
That's why I Googled the cursed sword when you got the cursed sword.
I did.
Crop rotated picture about yay big, and I put the work in.
She did, and I just get a message from her. Is this what Ryder's making? And I was like, I don't know.
It's so cute, and I already know it's getting passed down to their kids.
Yeah, it's not that we've already talked about our characters having children.
What? No. What? Us do that? No.
What? We have minifig files for all of them.
Not here.
What? No. Classes picked out for them? No.
Classes picked out.
But since Maria's not here, so basically all Calamity did during the 1 month vacation was this fairy had to recover after getting stabbed through the stomach, sitting there a while,
bleeding out,
almost dead, had to recover, and then went and used big spells during the fight, so had to recover again. So she finally was able to use Wish to free the Raven King, and Calamity basically stayed next to his side the entire time. She would go downstairs and visit and talk with Gretel and everything, but stayed next to Galleon basically the whole time. And one of my favorite moments was very soon after Galleon came back. I don't know if many of you know this, because it was, again, we all did this through chat because we were taking a small hiatus. She went, "I'm sorry, I'm not who I used to be." He went,
"Yeah,
you don't need to be. I love you anyways." And that was one of my favorite little parts.
And she tortured him with rock puns.
Yes, and then she did rock puns for like literally a full page, and I just like,
sounds about right. That's par for the course. That tracks.
Yeah, so they had a lovely little time bonding together, and then he literally went, "Don't try and take Hades' spot, because you'll become that." And everyone's downstairs going,
well,
or we could.
I just need to say, you know when you get like sleep drunk because you're up way too late? The other weekend, I was absolutely not awake, and I just like roll over and have a moment of consciousness, and I'm like, and I look at Brent and I look at Maria, I'm like, what if we take Aisan to the underworld and let him blow it up?
Which I'm still not against. And it sounds like a pretty good idea.
I hadn't heard about this. I love this.
Yeah, no, Maria and I looked at each other and looked at her and went, "That's not how it works."
I'm
Tell me no.
I know.
I do have an idea. I'm saving it, but I have a thought.
Okay.
We'll get there someday. But yeah, I mean, man, Brain, that was like the most genius thing I've ever said, and I can't believe you turned me down like that.
I love it. I think it's amazing.
I still, one of my favorite quotes is,
we can make that work.
As Friendly had another saloon dream, and she was basically like, "You're getting better, you're just not ready yet." And Abby goes, Moon Santa says you're still on the naughty list.
Yeah, he's gonna be on that list for a bit. Oh yeah, I also forgot to mention he has sworn off swords for a bit for obvious reasons.
Yes, he has. Yeah.
But he made himself a pretty bitchin' ass looking hammer. Because there's a book that I'm slightly obsessed with, and one of the characters goes through a similar situation in which he gets too attached to a weapon that's designed for killing, and he goes and it's just like, you know what, I don't want to be that. So instead he makes a hammer, because with a hammer you can decide whether or not it's going to be used to create or destroy. And because he's got that blacksmith background, it's also very friendly there, and it's going to take some getting used to again. I got really good. I called him Theron for so long, and then I got other things on the side now that
at that point calling him friendly, it feels weird.
Yeah.
So now,
well, one of the other things that was really big
talk about what you guys did.
I was gonna say, like thing one was they had a much needed talk about all the shit that went down.
They wrote
63 pages.
60 pages of RP for this 1 month that they went through.
And
it was much needed.
But over the course, it was much needed. Like the two of them wouldn't have been able to like move forward if they hadn't like talked through all this. And there's still some stuff they have to get to, that they have to talk about. But like one thing in particular, the almost killing her.
I may have almost killed her. It's fine.
It's fine.
But like,
it's fine. Nightmares about that still? What?
Yes, call Natalie out, because it's totally her.
Okay. It's not just me.
I don't know what you're talking about. I did not contribute to this at all in any way, shape, or form.
Oh no!
I gave one sentence responses.
The letters are included in that, and though the letters do take up quite a few pages on their own.
Yeah.
But
I only wrote maybe a page or two in responses to them.
Oh yeah,
because it was mostly them.
Ixis, is that what her name is? Ixis. It's Edna Mode.
Ixis.
It's Edna Mode.
Ixis is her name.
But like one of the things that they got to in that conversation was talking about like him like letting Theron find some sort of like to condone and just kind of like make amends for like things that he did. And so that was how they ended up going to his hometown, that he had done all that shit to. And so like this goes back to their first date, but like they had gotten to talking about their past, and he told her some more about his mother, and Rose offered to set her on fire if he wanted her to, and he was like, yeah, hell yeah. And so they get there, and they get to his hometown, and just to dispose of the bodies, basically just to lay everyone to rest and bury them in the spot, do what we could to lay these souls to rest as much, even though they're probably with Hades, but it's fine.
It's fine. We're not thinking about that.
But Rose basically said the offer still stands.
And he had her do it because he had a moment with his mother's corpse, which I totally may or may not have made what's his name from Avatar? Aang's mentor. When he finds him in episode.
That's his kid.
Yeah. And episode 3 when he goes.
His name is Monkiato.
Monkiato, thank you. My brain not here. I had too much tequila. It's fine.
Fine.
Oh my god.
Yes, Gyato. Very much like that, in which her corpse is literally just sitting at the kitchen table, which they lived in a shack, a shed of a house. And she's just there, half decomposed, because it's been a couple months, and half of her is protected from the weather, and half is not. And he had a moment where he was just like, yeah, no, not very sanitary at all.
No.
But he wasn't thinking. She was also the last person he killed when he massacred this entire village.
And she basically welcomed him home, and then he went, stab.
Yeah.
So, that's why she's sitting at the kitchen table, because she was like, you're back, oh my gosh. He's like, haha.
Bye. But he had a moment where he went over to her and was trying to apologize, and was like, you know what, I'm going to finally lay you to rest, and goes to grab something from, at the time, their shared bedroom, and he finds her, so she was addicted to opiates.
She kept her drugs.
And he has spent, like, before, he had spent a lot of his own personal money to buy her these drugs so that she would have good days and, like, love him, basically. So he saw that, and he reverted back to his anger and turned to Rose and said, you need to burn her. Like, I can't do it. And
so she did.
Just, like, threw the drugs to her and left. And let Rose burn him.
And so Rose burns her and the drugs, yeah. The whole thing.
So it's like 100%.
The way they got to the town.
They had to. So we had to convince Ixis to let us teleport. Yeah, it was very emotional for me.
It was, yeah.
Because Theron's my good boy. Like, he is my favorite character I've ever made for D&D. Like, I love him so much. And having him... Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I love how Fairy's like, you guys need to take a break. None of us took a break.
No.
I mean, you didn't go fight shit, and that's all you wanted.
We did take a break.
We fought our feelings.
Like, no, you're
absolutely...
you get to work out.
Yeah. It was absolutely not an emotional break.
With Winnie and Rose, and Fairy just went, you guys need to talk. This is not good.
And it was so good.
You need to talk.
The Rose Winnie talk was so good.
It was good. It was good, yeah.
Oh, so good. But yeah, so Theron had a bit of a thing. But he did go through, and he did feel bad for killing, like, the kids of the town. He didn't feel bad for the adults, but, like, all the kids that he slaughtered, he felt really bad. He had breakdowns multiple times, but he took the time to bury each and every corpse that he killed as his way of, like, that he could. That wasn't already gone and reclaimed by
the ones
nature.
we couldn't, they like put together in a pyre and burned, yeah.
But it was his way of getting his atonement. Though he did bring up to Rose, he's like, do you think this really helped, or do you think they're still trapped with Hades? Because, you know, after being in that vortex himself, he knows it's not great. But then Rose is like, you know what, let's go on an actual vacation. And then they teleported to Atlantis. So Theron actually got to see Atlantis.
Yes.
And I commissioned art.
With Raya and Leah there.
Yes,
we got to spend time with Raya and Leah.
And Raya did the whole, like, sister shovel speech in which she was like, she was like taunting him and just being a total asshole, and then every other word in Atlantean, she's like, I like him, he's good, you've got him wrapped around your finger, this is a good thing. And then eventually,
and Leah's just like, you have to eat your vegetables, you have to eat the squid noodles, it's impolite if you don't.
My favorite is Cordelia convinces Theron to eat the bugs of Atlantis because otherwise it's rude. And he's just like, okay. It was so good.
Leah's low-key a bit of a shithead, and I love that for her.
I love it.
So
it
good.
was so good.
The only reason they got to Hourglass is because Mage Ixis, is very, very particular about who she helps, who she even sees, who she even allows in her house. They had to trade that powerful blood staff just to get her to teleport them. And basically, they showed up.
We're going to use it.
No.
So
they showed up, and Ixis was like eyed in on Rose.
Who are you? What do you want?
Poked and poked and poked and poked until Rose literally attacked her, and she went, yes, that's what I wanted. Come on, let's go.
It was so good.
Yeah, basically.
Whack job.
I'm literally sitting here as friendly, like, oh my god, please just kill her. Just attack her. Please, just do it. She's so annoying. And then when Rose finally did it,
trying to Rose is trying so hard not to explode. She's trying so hard to be put on have good first impressions so that this mage doesn't like turn her away or some shit.
Yeah.
And until finally she snapped.
It was so good.
And Ixis went, you're being too nice. I don't like that. You're not strong enough. I don't want you. You're too polite. Go away.
Rude.
It's like, yes, I wanted you to attack me. Good, come on. You're worth it.
Yeah.
That was so good.
So now Ixis is helping Rose to craft things that will prevent scrying.
Yep.
That's awesome.
That's
so fun.
I have art in the works of Theron and Rose, and they're forced at matching Atlantean outfits because Raya is a hopeless
Because of course we had
romantic.
that fun fashion moment, yeah.
In which Raya was
And
like,
afterward,
I'm not gonna make you look bad. You have to look good because you have to make her look good, and it was so good. It was good.
Yeah.
Afterward, they finally have a name for themselves. After 260 hours of playing, we finally have a name for ourselves.
We are the
halfway
last
through my
resort.
second.
Last resort.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. It's the last resort.
Fiddle was rambling on about some shit. She's just like, why do people even call us? Like, we should literally be the last resort.
And then Theron goes, that's it. That's what we are. We are the last resort. Like, you only come to us if you have no other options. And it's been great ever since.
And then they had a choice whether or not they wanted to go towards LeShoe or towards Valston. And Rose decided to confront Daddy, your old dad.
Yep. And then we still ended up going towards LeShoe.
Yeah. Like, her thought going into that was like, okay, maybe I can just like confront this shit, and then because she knew at this point that Daddy Dearest had put out like a bounty on like her return, like through the agency, through this criminal organization. And so it's like, oh, okay, maybe we can just like, maybe I can, like, anything else, I can just like with any luck, I can just convince Dad, like, hey, I'm not coming back, so call off this bullshit. And no. I was
my favorite thing is when players accidentally forget their backstory, but I don't.
So there are a lot of things that Rose's father said when she was arguing with him, because it was mostly just Rose yelling at her dad and like just arguing there, and him calling her a fool, calling her an idiot, saying that like, hey, like what are you doing, like abandoning your responsibilities, like that kind of shit. And he made a comment about how he could make her friends, these people that he cares about,
do it again.
he can make them disappear because he'd done it before. And it took me a second to realize what he meant by that, because of all the other stuff that was going on. It was so emotional, and I didn't realize until after the session. But so Rose had a girlfriend when she was younger, and they got caught. They tried to run away together. They got caught. They got discovered, and she never saw that girl again. She doesn't know what happened to her. So father was definitely talking about her. So that's a fun little revelation
that we're gonna deal with.
Yeah, that was afterward, and I got Rin through Discord.
Yeah.
It was
wonderful. Yeah, but it was sorry.
It was during the emotional talk.
Yeah,
I said during the emotional talk, Calamity and Theron are in jail, trying to get out.
Yeah, and so
Fiddle's here just pissed off because she sees so much of her own like dad's crappiness like in front of her. She's like,
Rose was like so glad to at least have like she, oh god, I don't know how she would have done with that like all by herself. Like,
yeah, it's a good thing Winnie was there.
Real glad Fiddle was there. Like, so
Mom was real happy that you were safe. She was just happy you were safe.
Yeah,
I know, and I need to find. And so,
Rin, what is Rose's mom?
Yeah, tell me about Rose's mom. But so like the first time that they passed through Rose's hometown, and the whole shit, all the stuff happened with Theron and Calamity like trying to get the reward money. Rose sent a message to her mom afterwards, telling her like, hey, yeah, I was actually in town, and sorry I didn't say bye, but I'm not coming back. And her mom responded with something along the lines of like, okay, like it's
come back,
like just like
safe stuff. Like
she wanted me safe. She wanted she thought that like
come home,
that I should come home because that was where I belonged and that was the best path for me.
Lies.
And to which Rose was just like, oh, okay. Like, it was just confirmation for Rose that her mom like never listened. Nothing that she ever said ever stuck. And just like just confirming what she already knew. But that was still her using magic to contact her mom in this country where magic is illegal. And they come back and there aren't any wanted posters for Rose for using magic or for anything like that. Which means the mom kept it a secret.
Ooh.
So what is going on there?
We're gonna have to talk to Mom, aren't we?
And is there more going on there? Is Mom like just in like is she just as trapped as Rose was? Like what the fuck is going on?
Don't know.
Where did Rose find the wizard tomes? Why were they there? What's going on?
Yep.
Because Rose learned magic from like a book that she found like hidden away in her family's library. She just happened to find it and then taught herself out of that. Like, so where did that come from? What is going on?
So
And she and Fiddle escaped using magic, using Dimension Door, and then polymorphed into an eagle to get them all out of the city safely. And so now all of Ankara knows we're here.
So sadly back at the town.
If we ever had like somebody looking at our finances, they'd be like, the losses on horses, guys, come on, we can't keep doing this.
It's so worth it. It's so good though. So, in other news, we're just really excited to keep going with the story. So
they will be starting. It is the new year. Dunbrock when they will be starting. It's literally January 1st in the year because I just use this calendar year to make it a lot easier. So January 1st in Dunbrock is when we are starting. That's not the day we're starting. We don't know when we're actually streaming yet.
We have to
let y'all know.
In game, it will be New Year in Dunbrock. So we are all very excited.
Very excited. We will see this all next year.
Nervous. I'm nervous.
Yes.
Very excited.
Fiddle.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sticking with us for these recaps. They're really fun. Enjoying our rambling.
Explain, but
we're very passionate about these characters. We love them.
Again, we've played over 260 hours, so it's a lot to go over, unfortunately.
Yes.
But
well, we greatly appreciate all of you for
sticking through it with us. Yeah.
But we will post on our Discord, which if you want to join, you can. It's super fun. I try to post when we can, all the nerd stuff. But yeah. Thank you
lots of
guys
memes,
so much.
Lots of funny videos.
Yes.
Thank you guys for joining us. Have a wonderful, wonderful night.
And have a happy new year.
Yes, happy new year.
Everyone just peace out 2020. Let's just hope we don't hear the Mortal Kombat ready round 2. Please no. That's all I have.
No.
All right.
Oh no.
Heat of the moment.
No. Oh God, no, thank you, no.
Thank you so much for joining us. We will let you know when we have another session. Thank you. Have a good night.
Bye, everyone.
Love you.